Let's make that clear.
A week after the mid-air collision between a passenger jet and an Army helicopter, crews just lifted the Black Hawk out of the Potomac. President Trump is calling for an upgrade of the nation's air traffic control system.
We spent billions and billions of dollars trying to renovate an old, broken system instead of just saying, cut it loose, and let's spend less money and build a great system.
Trump says he'll ask congressional leaders to come up with a bill on that. New Orleans officials are touting the security that will be in place this upcoming Super Bowl weekend. CBS's Danya Backus has more.
With the countdown to Super Bowl 59 underway, security is already tight. No matter where you turn in New Orleans French Quarter, you'll find law enforcement.
We are really quite prepared.
Hundreds of armed National Guard members, along with thousands of federal, state, and local agents, are on the ground to ensure the safety of those who visit here,
including President Trump, who plans to attend the game. Much of that security will carry over to Mardi Gras, which has been upgraded to Homeland Security's highest risk rating after the deadly New Year's Day truck attack in New Orleans. On Wall Street, Dow up 125 near the close, NASDAQ up 99. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly sunny, windy, 18 degrees at 3:03. I'm Laura Oakes. After more than a month of disruption and animosity, a deal. And now we're less than a half hour away from a true gaveling in of the Minnesota House of Representatives.
It's a deal that ends weeks of jawing between House Republicans and Democrats. House DFL leader Melissa Hortman says both sides are obviously fed up with how things went and that it's time to turn the page for Minnesotans.
We have to take this opportunity that Minnesotans have given us with a tie and show them that we can work collaboratively as a team. The fighting, that's for the campaign trail. Now it is time to govern and to govern together.
Republican House Speaker Lisa Dameth says the House has plenty of work to focus on, including the budget and making sure students and schools are set up for success.
Build for the future so businesses can go ahead and be successful. We need to reduce the tax burden that is on all Minnesotans because the increase in spending over the last 2 years. Those things need to be done, and that's what we need to get to work and do.
Mark Fry, News Talk 830 WCCO.
The new power sharing agreement includes Republican Representative Lisa Dameth taking over as Speaker of the House. WCCO radio host and KSTP TV political reporter Tom Hauser.
There are some restrictions. It's not full, unfettered speaker powers, but as you know, Mel Brooks used to say, it's good to be the king. And so
it's good to be the king. Yeah.
This is a situation where it's good to be the speaker.
Hauser telling WCCO's Chad Hartman the big issue moving forward will be whether or not they can cooperate to come up with a budget before the end of the session. A Minneapolis City Council committee is expected to vote this afternoon on how to move forward with redevelopment plans for George Floyd Square at 38th and Chicago in South Minneapolis. The full council recently rejected a flexible open concept option that Mayor Jacob Fry favors to instead pursue a pedestrian plaza that would limit vehicular traffic. A school bus driver in Onamia is being called a hero today after his quick thinking averted a potential disaster.
The Mille Lacs County Sheriff's Office released this dramatic video of a near miss. The bus driver was heading south on 169 when a northbound semi-truck crossed over the center line. The bus driver, Brian Lathrop, made a quick move to avoid colliding head-on with the semi. Sheriff Kyle Burton says his action undoubtedly saved many lives. The sheriff said the vehicles sideswiped near the rear passenger side of the bus. 2 students were checked out for minor injuries. Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That is
isn't that crazy?
Wow.
It's such a close call. There's video of it as well, and it's pretty frightening. University of Minnesota students gathering today to protest President Trump's decision to allow ICE detentions on school campuses. Organizer Juliette Murphy says they're urging regents to designate the U as a sanctuary campus.
I have friends who are international students who are concerned about traveling back home and how that might affect their visas. Like, some of my friends have been advised not to leave the country. It sucks. Also, we want to show the surrounding community that we're here for each other, we're going to fight for each other, and we're not going to let this go happen silently.
And there will be no Caitlin Clark to face this time, but the stakes are just as high for the Gopher women's basketball team as they host Iowa tonight. The Gophers 12-1 at home and on the verge of making it into this year's NCAA tournament. WCCO News Time is 3:06.
On CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Well, the road's in fairly decent shape. Might run into a scattered slippery spot or two, but it's some strong winds out there, so make sure you keep both hands on the wheel and you're buckled up throughout the rest of the state. If you're going to be traveling 694 eastbound, there is a crash working on the ramp to southbound 35E off to the right side. East 36 at Hamlin, there's a crash working there. Look for the right lane to be shut down. Traffic is slow as you make way past Highway 280. And across town, slowing both directions between Glendale and Highway 100. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
The face of Minnesota veterans is changing. For the Centennial Year celebration, DAV of Minnesota invites you to join the ongoing effort to fulfill promises made to the men and women who served our great state and nation.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by DAV of Minnesota. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
That old wind slowly settles down tonight. We'll fall back to about 6 with a partly cloudy sky. Both of your commutes will be fine tomorrow. That doesn't arrive until late. Most of the snow falling overnight into the first half of the day on Saturday. Still think we could pick up about 3 to 6 inches. Some areas could see 4 to 8 inches of snow. A winter storm watch does include the Twin Cities. 22 will be the high on Saturday. The snow is out of here for Sunday.
Mostly sunny, windy right now, 18 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Commentary, call-ins, and compelling conversation.
We got it on every day.
News Talk 830 WCCO. Buckle up. Time for the ride home and the chance to get caught up on the day's news. Plus, whatever else he wants to riff on. This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Here's the star of the show and your host, Jason DeRusha.
Are you ready? All right.
Now live on your radio and streaming to the world at WCCOradio.com and the Odyssey app. Here's Jason DeRusha.
Who won the House standoff? Who's the winner? I have a couple ideas about that. I want yours at 651-461-9226. It's Jason DeRusha. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. So glad to have you with us on this Thursday, February 6th, where we are moments away from the State House finally getting to work. It has been about 4 weeks where House Democrats refused to show up in St. Paul at the state capitol. House Republicans tried to start the session on their own. The state Supreme Court said, you don't have enough people. And so the Supreme Court threw out what the Republicans did over the first week. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. To some degree, the fact that, and to some of you, the fact that the legislature wasn't meeting meant that they couldn't do anything to screw things up for Minnesota. So I don't know, was it that terrible? To me, it really was a symbol of the absolute division we have in our state, the dysfunction we have in our elected officials, and how loyal these elected officials are to their most rabid bases. Don't give an inch. Fight, fight, fight. This is what we saw on display from the Republicans and the Democrats. But finally, there is an agreement. And it's an agreement that is almost identical to what a lot of people are calling the DeRusha Deal. The DeRusha Deal proposed right on this show during a conversation with Republican leader and soon-to-be Speaker of the House, Lisa Demuth. Here's what I proposed. Lisa Demuth is with us. I mean, you said it. I just, as an outsider, this seems like we're all making this way more complicated than it needs to be. That if Republicans would say, we're going to seat Tabke, and Democrats would say, you have a majority, we screwed this up. Frankly, I wouldn't have a problem with you being the speaker for the full 2 years as sort of like, hey, they screwed up this candidate in 40B, so too bad. Like, you're the speaker for 2 years. To me, that would seem like, all right, good enough. Like, let's go. Let's get to work.
Jason, I appreciate you saying that. I really hope Representative Hortman has listened to you, because if that's what she was able to bring to the table and offer, that would be very, very open to negotiations, and we could probably move forward quicker.
How about that? Let me just take a look here at the details of the agreement. The Democrats agree to let Lisa Dameth be the Speaker of the House for 2 years. Huh. The Republicans agree that they will seat Brad Tabke. Interesting. And as soon as the March 11th special election is held for the seat that the Democrats screwed up by running a guy who didn't live in the district, likely a Democrat will win. If a Republican wins, then whatever, then it's easy. Then it's 68 to 66. Republicans have the chamber and off we go. But more likely, it will be a Democrat. It will be 67 to 67. Lisa Dameth will be the Speaker of the House of a chamber that is deadlocked. So she will have some power to decide what bills are heard, but it is power that will not have a lot of teeth, as far as I can tell, because the only stuff that's going to get passed, and there's not going to be a lot that gets passed, but the stuff that gets passed is going to have bipartisan agreement. So who wins? 651-461-9226. We'll have Blois Olson visiting with us in just a couple of minutes to give his take on who wins at this, as a session will be gavelled in. Jason, no winners. Voters lose and both parties lose credibility, says Phil. Not Walls. This is interesting. One of the points, so this is a texture from 952. Walls was late to the party again. On policy, I have so much agreement with Governor Tim Walz. On leadership, I have so many issues with the way he has done things. And in fact, this was another case where the governor never really stepped in. At least no one's publicly said that he has. And I asked Lisa Dameth directly, and she said the governor has had nothing to do with this process. All this happening at the Minnesota State Capitol is like Who's On First, the comedy routine made famous by Abbott and Costello. I think the Republicans win. The Republicans get Lisa Dameth as Speaker of the House for 2 years, where under the original power sharing agreement, she would be Speaker of the House until this special election was had, and then there would be co-Speaker of the House, where they would take turns one day after the other. Because the Democrats screwed up by running a candidate who didn't live in the district, the Republicans win. Now, the Democrats got a little bit of a win here in the fact that the Republicans agreed to having power sharing in the committees after the special election is had. I will say what kind of frosts me about all of this is that this whole thing is all about power. Because the practical underlying of this issue is the same. We're going to be split. It's going to be even. You're going to have to figure out a little give and take to be able to pass a budget. That fact is the same today as it was a month ago. Jason, you win because the Democrats get paid for not showing up for work. Just what you wanted. I will say this. I think this is why the Democrats in this entire thing are the losers. Because most people are not going to go into the nitty-gritty. And most people see Democrats not showing up. Looks bad for Democrats. Now, this obsession about the Democrats getting paid for not showing up to work, I believe, is the argument of an infant, of a child. It is idiotic. I understand why people are grabbing onto it. It feels good. They're getting paid. I got to do work and I get paid. Look, these people are still elected officials. They have election of certificates. And so what do you propose? What the Democrats were doing was a tactical, strategic move. The optics of it are terrible. They're just terrible. They are. Because explaining like, well, why we're doing it is because the Republicans are well, it's a lot of gobbledygook. Even though I understand why they did what they did. I also understand why the Republicans did what they did. That said, this argument they shouldn't get paid, snoozer. It's a snoozer to me. It's just so silly. Now, do I like that they didn't show up? No. Do I think that was good for Minnesota? No. Do I think that it's the Republicans' fault for threatening to ignore a county canvassing board for an election certificate, a judge, and a Supreme Court ruling, and ignore that? Yeah, that's the Republicans' fault. So whose fault is it that the Democrats didn't show up to work? Well, originally it's the Democrats' fault for running a ding-dong who doesn't live in the district. Second, it's the Republicans' fault for, it's everybody's fault. It's all of your fault. You all suck. I hate all of you. How about that? Not you guys. I love you. And we love Blois Olson. He's going to share his analysis. Lots of text coming in. I'd love to have more of your thought on this. Who won? Did anyone win? 651-461-9226. Blois coming up in minutes.
Drive Time with DeRusha is back after this on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right. Right before the show, I was in Edina. Dan was asking me when I came into work, why do you smell so good? Weren't you asking me that, Dan? I thought that was very nice of you to notice.
Yeah, I did.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're like, why do you smell so good? And Dan has an amazing nose, just really plugged into my cologne choices. It's because I went to J.H. and Son over at the Galleria. J.H. and Sons is amazing. And the team is awesome. So I go in there, there's Kevin. And Kevin, I'm like, Valentine's Day is coming. I need some ideas to share with our listeners. Because maybe you've got a special guy in your life. Man, J.H. and Sons is the spot to go. Because right now I'm wearing this Keton, a 06 fragrance. And it's fresh and bright and has a hint of citrus. It's just wonderful. I love cologne. They've got another brand over there. And they have, 12, 14 different colognes there. 8 and Bob is the other one. The original is beautiful. Go check it out. All sorts of gift ideas for the guy in your life. Do something different. Do something special. If you can't think of anything else, a J.H. and Sons gift card is always the perfect gift. Check them out online at jhandsons.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all day freshness.
You can do this. Why? Because no one cares more about your money than you. Right now, many have concerns about their retirement, their investments. Are these mutual funds a poor investment? Did you know that with the average fees of 2%, you could be missing out on upwards of half half of your potential retirement dollars. That's pretty high for management, especially when 75% of these funds underperform the market. At Trading Academy, our mission is to empower you to take control of your investments. Text investing to 210-210. Take control of your financial future. Maybe it's to just have a better conversation with your broker. Sign up for a free investing class, local classrooms, one-on-one mentoring, how to protect your investments against inflation. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Drive Time with DeRusha resumes now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Please stay.
Morning Take, Sunday Take, political analyst, insider Blois Olson is with us. Blois, who wins in this deal that has been struck as we wait for them to finally get to work in St. Paul? Who do you think wins?
Good afternoon, Jason. Look, this is a 10-round battle. I'd give the first round to Republicans, but we got a lot of rounds of this legislative session left. And I think the real question is how much damage did Democrats do to House members and potentially to Senate members when all 201 legislators are on the ballot next year? I had several DFL senators tell me they were worried about the ramifications in the Senate because people aren't going to differentiate between a House member and a Senate member when it comes to who showed up for work and who didn't.
It is interesting. Like, I understand, you understand the tactics at play by the DFL deciding to not show up. But I also understand that if I'm a regular person, I'm not paying that much attention, and it looks bad. People didn't show up.
Yeah, they're going to have to explain that they didn't go to work, but they still got paid. And that's a pretty counter argument.
It's so stupid, though, Blois, isn't it? It's so stupid. It's like the most elemental, infantile argument that, like, oh, they shouldn't have gotten paid. You're like, well, I don't know. To me, that's ridiculous.
Politics isn't always smart, Jason. It's not always intelligent debate.
That's fair. It just feels so stupid. I understand why people grab it.
I wanted to bring you up to speed with 2025.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It is 2025, and the infantile argument sometimes wins the day for sure.
Yeah,
it is easy to understand, and I do think the optics are bad for the Democrats. The question is, does it linger? Does this 1 month, is it going to really last? I suspect it might.
There's a good chance it will. I think we're going to see TV ads. We're going to see direct mail. You're going to see Republicans bring this up next year. But next year, election cycle is a long way away. It's Trump's midterm. His last midterm while he was the incumbent was a disaster for Republicans. And that's what Democrats are betting on. They're betting on another disastrous midterm for Trump.
Why did this get done, Blois? Why did this get done? Because Democrats have been saying all along that, they essentially offered this. And we heard this today from Melissa Hortman that she's like, we offered this at the beginning, which I am skeptical of. I don't think they offered this exact deal that came in. But what do you think?
I think it was a combination of things. I think it was the court case. Both sides had a lot to lose if they lost the court case. If Republicans lost the court case, Democrats wouldn't come back till March. And I think that's when the whole legislature starts to look bad.
Right.
The second thing is there's no way Melissa offered up the giving up the speakership for 2 years.
Right.
She said as much on your show.
Right.
Why would you get to be speaker for 2 years? So she did concede that. I will tell you this. Democrats I've heard from are more upset with this deal than Republicans are upset with this deal.
Yeah.
And so they did have to give a little more. I also think that new committee led by a Republican for all 2 years.
The fraud committee,
the fraud and investigation committee. That's going to give Republicans a lot of fodder going into next year. And Democrats, even Ryan Winkler, a former state rep, this week came out and said Democrats have done a bad job on fraud and they have to get better at it. And so I think that's lingering, kind of undercuts Democrats' argument. And this budget battle is going to be, like WrestleMania 100. It's going to be the biggest budget battle we've seen in our lifetime.
We just got a statement from the new Minnesota Republican chair who said they're continuing this recall effort, which is almost an impossible effort in Minnesota. But they say they don't care that we came to a deal. The facts remain. Democrats failed to show up for work for 3 weeks and collected $300,000 in taxpayer-funded salaries. This doesn't really go anywhere, does it? They get to have a good time and punch the DFL around a bit, but no one's getting recalled, are they?
Minnesota, it's tough to recall people in Minnesota, but I said on Morning News with Anita this morning that I thought they would continue it in targeted districts, close districts, like Tabke's district, like the Wolgamont district up in St. Cloud, where they won by less than 200, 300 votes. So I think that then keeps the constant campaign going.
Right.
And we know on the national scale, that's what you do. You keep, always on campaign, it's called. And so this gives Republicans that opportunity. It fires up the Republican base and it keeps Democrats on their heels for those 2 years.
If you were advising the Democrats, would you advise them to give their pay back?
Yeah, but they're not going to. And if an individual member could, I think then they should. I think that would be good. But so few of these members are actually in vulnerable seats. They're in safe DFL seats.
Yeah, so who cares?
So what do they have to lose?
Right. I mean, if I were Brad Tabke, even though I think it's ridiculous that, I wouldn't get paid, I would for sure give that money back, right? Like just to sort of blunt and take away that issue.
I think he himself, by the way, I think he's probably the most secure of the Democrats because he wasn't guaranteed he was going to be seated. I knew Republicans didn't have the votes, but Republicans wouldn't admit that didn't have the votes.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. It's interesting stuff. And now they have to try to get a budget with all of the hurt feelings and anger. I mean, these are people. And so those bruised feelings, like you said, WrestleMania might be an understatement. Like, remember all of the nonsense about the Kumbaya session we were going to have, and we're forcing people to work together and all of that? My goodness, that went out the window fast, didn't it?
It does. And usually these bills start in the House, fiscal bills start in the House and then go to the Senate. But the Senate's going to have to take some leadership here and find some deals. And then you have to look at the tone and tenor of the governor. It's not like the governor moderated at any point during this stalemate. He sided with Democrats the whole time. He insulted Republicans. He started going national again. And that's going to play in because let's remember, this is a three-way negotiation on this budget.
Blois, good stuff. It's always something, that's for sure. And they'll gavel into session pretty soon. And they beat my guess. I thought it was going to take until March. It was going to take until that special session, but it shows maybe the uncertainty, like you said, over this court hearing and over just how bad the optics were for the Democrats.
Exactly.
Blois, thank you. Blois Olson
Talk to you soon.
With us here. He's with Vanita every morning, and he's on your radio every Sunday with the Sunday Take. Let's break. I want to have some fun on a a topic that I was having with my physical therapist. Because sometimes when someone's grabbing your arm and like pushing it up and making you scream, you come up with good radio topics. I'll tell you this. Our next topic involves snake. I'll explain when we come back here on CCO.
Is on the way following these messages on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, it is Jason here from my friends at Livia Weight Control Center. And oh my goodness, I have had such a life-changing experience with my friends at Livia. I was at the Livia Weight Control Center in Coon Rapids just yesterday visiting Molly. Molly's my coach. And here's the thing. When you're thinking about weight loss, you've tried stuff. I tried stuff. You think you can do it yourself. I thought I could do it myself. The biggest change for my life was when I recognized and realized that I couldn't do it myself. I needed help, and I reached out to Livia Weight Control Centers because they've been getting it done for 15 years. Livia.com is the website, 855-GO-LIVIA. How about saving 25% off? GLP-1, weight loss medications, all doses, plus you could save 25% on Livia's award-winning nutrition programs. The whole thing is designed for you. What's your lifestyle? What's your goal? What's your need? And the coach is there to hold you accountable, give you the encouragement, get you across the finish line. Here I am more than 2 years later, 45 pounds down, and I've kept every pound off. Down to the 10th, every pound off. Go to Livia.com. Change your life today because Livia does weight loss differently.
If there was ever a time to get it off your chest.
I loved what you said, but two things I disagree with.
If there was ever a time to speak up.
I think it is a bit inexcusable.
To speak out.
You know, they're abusing their power. They're playing victim. They act like little children.
To make sure your voice is heard.
They started it.
The time is now.
There's a lot of corruption on both sides.
That's how the world works.
The place is the talk and text line, 651-461-9226. On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-317-2277. That's 800-317-2277. 800-317-2277.
For your big game party, you better stop by Total Wine & More for a guaranteed win. They have thousands of bottles down every aisle, and prices so low they're going to make you smile. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
College sports hold a mythic place in American culture. But sometimes the drama off the court overshadows the action on it.
The higher-ups are concerned about one thing, and that is avoiding scandal.
I'm Margot Gray. On the new podcast, Campus Files, we cover everything, including some of the biggest scandals in college sports. Listen to and follow Campus Files, an Odyssey original podcast, available now on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
A couple crashes cleared out of the way. East 36 near Lexington and 694 eastbound and southbound 35E. But we do have one working up on Highway 10 eastbound near Foley Boulevard into the left lane a little bit there. So do use caution in the area. The road's basically in pretty good shape. You might find a scattered slippery spot or two. So continue to use caution in shaded areas. Some of the ramps and bridge decks. West 94 slowing into Minneapolis up begins at Riverside. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jordana Green here. I pray you and your family are always safe. But if there's ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw & Bryant help you. He will work with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw & Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Forecast Time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys seeking justice for the injured. You can find them at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Those are a lot of words to bring you to our Chris Schaefer.
The wind backs off tonight. It's going to be a cool night, falling back to about 6. Most of the day tomorrow, pretty quiet. Only a high of 20. That's about 6 degrees below average. But the snow will hold off until late. No issues with either commute or school bus stops or anything like that. Most of the snow falling early Saturday morning into the early afternoon hours. We are under a winter storm watch. Still think we could see 3 to 6 inches. There could be a town or two in the 4 to 8 inch range. Fortunately, it won't be very windy on Saturday, so we won't have blizzard conditions.
You know, if you're going to get a big dump of snow, no better time than Saturday, right? Right now in downtown Minneapolis, man, is it windy. It is 17 degrees. It feels like 0 on CCO.
Jason DeRusha.
He is pompous. He is erudite. He is intelligent. He is condescending.
On News Talk 830, WCCO.
Do you remember playing Snake on your cell phone? This is something I was talking about while I was getting physical therapy this morning. What happens when you're old and you're a dad and you get physical therapy from a wonderful physical therapist who is almost certainly going to be younger than you? You try to entertain them. I'm not proud of myself for that. I asked, in fact, Elise over at Twin Cities Orthopedic today. I said, I mean, is everybody as entertaining as I am? It's a fair question. It's a fair question, Dan.
I mean, the answer would seem obvious, no.
Well,
that's the only reason I would question your asking the question.
She was not going to give you the satisfaction of that, right? She wasn't going to say.
Yeah, why should the person that's hurting you?
She's like pulling the arm up, working on the shoulder.
Why should she massage your ego at the same time?
Absolutely. Absolutely fair point. But for whatever reason, we were talking about old, simple video games. And I was trying to remember. I'm like, man. Oh, because the reason I brought this up is I'm doing exercises, right? She's got like the green, what's the material on gloves?
Latex?
Latex. So it's like these latex, like you're pulling these.
Oh, the bands.
Yeah. And so I'm doing the thing and she's on her computer and I'm like, are you playing Minesweeper over there? And then I you say that, and I'm like, my God. Like,
how old am I?
Right.
Yeah.
But she knew the reference. Now,
That's
I
good.
think she is in, I don't know. You know, a gentleman doesn't ask someone's age. But Elise was like, she got the reference. And it made me think of Snake, because Snake was on the Nokia cell phone at my like my first job in Davenport, Iowa, right? Like I had like the little heavy green screen, tiny little screen phone. And I'd be like covering court trials and stuff as a reporter in the Quad Cities. And you're sitting in the hall waiting for stuff to happen.
Got to kill a little time.
Boop, 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 boop. Favorite old simple video game, 651-461-9226. I want to know your favorites because I miss the simplicity. Phil is in Woodbury. Phil, you're on CCO. I play Mario Kart on my phone today. That's about and I get made fun of all the time by my kids. They're like, you play Mario Kart on your phone? I'm like, yes.
Well, I want to say top of the hour to you. Can I tell you something real quick?
Sure.
All right. So from Woodbury. So you know me, I'm a snow lover, and I keep telling you, we have an extra sled for you if you want to come snowmobiling.
Is this the weekend? Maybe it's this weekend.
And I found out where I go, the trails are already open. So tomorrow, I'm taking the whole day off.
You're taking the day off to go. I also am taking tomorrow off, Phil.
And I'm going up to the cabin to go snowmobiling.
Oh, that's going to be amazing. You've been waiting for it too, right? I was talking to a friend last night who was annoyed about how he hasn't been able to get out on the sled.
You tell him your buddy Phil from Woodbury is going to be going right now.
All right, excellent. Excellent.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it. There's Phil. 651-461-9226.
So I assume some game was coming after
No,
the invitation. No, he just wanted to invite you to go.
That's fine. You want to call in?
You do what you do.
You guys can call and say what. Well, not whatever.
Don't.
You don't want to just do open phones?
No,
you never want to just
that.
open the phones and see what happens.
No.
Why not?
Because I've worked here for 24 years and I've seen the outcome of that offer, and it's not good for anyone.
I think our listeners are wonderful.
I love our listeners, and we're not doing open phones.
Texters, Jason, this old mom fondly remembers the days of the Atari 7800 system and Dig Dug. What was your first video game system, Dan? Do you remember as a kid?
Yeah, we were actually one of the first on our block to have the Atari 2600. So that's going back to
way back, yeah.
So it was Pong and like 5 other games which were just another version of Pong. It was the exact same game. They just had different kind of accoutrement going on there. So it was that, and then it eventually, bridged up into other games. But yeah, we had that early on, and it had not only the joystick but also the paddle. Do you remember the paddle with the turn dial on the top?
Oh yeah,
and then the button on the side. So we had the whole bit, man.
So we had Intellivision. Intellivision was our video game system.
Okay.
So there was no Atari for us. My friend Phil Alderman had a ColecoVision. That was very nice.
Yeah.
And then my neighbor across the street, Eileen Erickson, had the Commodore 64. So you could play Frogger, which was very exciting.
We also had the Commodore 64. That was where like the Lemonade Stand and Oregon Trail and all of those kind of games.
Yeah, we had the Texas Instruments 99.4A. That was our first computer. And I remember one year for Christmas, we got something called a voice synthesizer. A voice synthesizer, which you plug into the Commodore to the TI 99.4A, which today you just call it a speaker, but it allowed the computer to talk to you. And it was like the most freaking amazing thing in the world. You're like, I can't believe it.
Our original disk drive on the Commodore 64 was a cassette player. I mean, we weren't even to floppy disks yet.
Yeah.
That's how old that machine was.
Just the fact that you could play any video game.
Yeah.
Now, what is now? A lot of these games were like on your Windows computer, right?
Sure.
So when you first got Windows, like and Ski Free, says Eric from Forest Lake on Windows 95, we were entertained for hours. Like I could play Snake, which for the youngsters who maybe are like, I don't know what Snake is. Snake is a monochrome screen with a line that would eat a dot. You would just kind of go around this, and you would use the keypad to make you go either up, right, down, or left. That was the only choice.
You only had the 4 directions.
And as you ate the dots, your snake got longer.
And you couldn't cross over.
You couldn't cross over yourself.
It was like the Tron game kind of deal with the light cycle.
Oh,
only far less cooler than that.
I just loved it, but we didn't know. It seemed very cool
great
at the time.
When I first started working here, so way back in the dark ages, I was actually the owner of a PDA. I forget what the brand name, the Palm Pilot. It was a Palm Pilot, but it was a monochrome screen and it had very limited games on it. So you could do like the Solitaire, you could do Hangman. There was a couple of just very, very basic ones like that. And there may have been a few nights as I was working an overnight shift where things got a little bit slow and I might have broken out the Palm Pilot and pretended like I was doing something very official and I was actually just playing solitaire.
Texters are saying Frogger. Yeah, Frogger.
That's classic.
Frogger was a big deal because on the TI 99.4A, there's no Frogger. We had Oregon Trail. I don't remember what games we had. I do remember doing some programming. Like I would program in BASIC, and you could get, like you would type in the program and get the computer, you'd hit run, and it would like make a word flash. You're like,
look what I just
did. This is the future. Roadrunner. I don't remember Roadrunner.
No, I don't remember Roadrunner either.
A Roadrunner says a texter. Tank versus Tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
That was really good. Mac on the Mac Apple, Decathlon. Yep. I remember Decathlon. You know, it was just a simpler time.
There was one so the two that I remember at school, right, when you had the computer labs, and everybody would go sprinting down because you wanted to finish the actual work that you had to do so that you could then play Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
But then there was another one. It was like a turtle. Somebody will know the name of this one, but it was a turtle thing that you had to move around the screen. But it was like what you talked about, type in a bunch of commands and then get this thing to move. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it is. I'll ask my friend about it. He'll know it instantly.
I'm
It was
looking-
Oregon Trail and those two.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones that we had to.
I'm looking at Decathlon when you search it, and it 1982. So it's like Olympic decathlon, and you see like there's like a high jump, and there's like a straight line across the screen, and you see somebody like jumping over a little stick that represents the high jump into the foam pit. Just hilarious. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, this is the stuff. This is what I miss.
One of these games for like $5.
Leisure Suit Larry, that was a Word Munchers. Yeah. Gorf from the Commodore VIC 20.
I don't remember that one.
Man, we are old.
We are very old. Yeah.
It just was a moment. Like you're having this conversation. Now, someone says this guy has no idea how cringe he is to younger women. And I would just like to say, first of all, how dare you? How dare you assume that I don't know how cringe I am? I'm well aware. I am extremely cringe. I get it. I don't care. I don't care.
Jason DeRusha returns shortly with more of Drive Time on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, I'm like only moderately cringe. Moderately cringe. If you're saying that, then you've already proven you are cringe. It's Jason here. You know, I was talking to my dermatologist today, Dr. Mohiba Tureen over at Tureen Dermatology, because we're planning out some of the things that we're going to do over the coming months, different videos we're going to put on social media. And keep your eyes peeled for the Tureen Dermatology Instagram page, because I don't want to fully give it away, but there's a big giveaway coming up that's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. Tureen Dermatology is so dedicated to you, your care, your family, your skin. Get in there and get that full body skin checkup. I've been going for years. Because I have a history of skin cancer in my family. My father has had so many cancerous growths removed, and I want to make sure that if I have any of that, because heredity is a factor, that I catch it early and I get it taken care of by the best. You can get an appointment at Tureen Dermatology within 3 weeks. I always talk about this because it's so rare. It's so rare when you try to get an appointment with a dermatologist. Usually you have to wait months. They'll get you in 3 weeks. They've got a new office in Farmington. So if you live in the Farmington area, this is awesome. They're in Faribault. They're in Eagan. They're in Hudson. I go to Roseville. You go to Tureen, Tareen, dermatology.com.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan Silver Dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Call now to secure 1 ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. Don't miss out on this special deal. Regularly priced at $49.95, but for a limited time, only $39.95. Save $10 per silver bar. Limit of 25 bars per customer. The more you buy, the more you save. Up to $250 in savings and free shipping on every order. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan Silver Dollar. That's a $59.95 value free. Call 1-800-386-7195 now to secure your 1 ounce Morgan Silver Bars for only $39.95. That's 1-800-386-7195.
If only there was an easy guide to follow to sell your home for thousands of dollars more than you otherwise could. Oh, wait, There is. Hey, it's Vanita. You've been hearing me talk about my buddy, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Those home sellers forums that I've told you about that really work. Scott and Renee went to one and followed John's blueprint for success. There are 5 different marketing options for you to choose from, and all of them work. Scott and Renee really benefited from them. Their home sold for more than $10,000 over the asking price. Trusting the John Schuster Group was the right decision for them. He knows what he's doing. His team, they know what they're doing. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Correction place hit for Highway 10 eastbound near Fuller Boulevard off the left side into the left lane just a little bit. Traveling 494 northbound, got some slowing there as you move between Carlson Parkway and Bass Lake Road. 694 eastbound jammed up as you come away from Central, heading up to 35W. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
All right, Chris Schaefer says, get ready for Saturday. We are under a winter storm watch from midnight till 6 on Saturday. Looks like we're going to get some real snow, maybe 4 inches all over the place. Could be 4 to 8. We'll see. Let's start with tonight, low of 6. Tomorrow, 20. And then that snow in the late night, overnight hours. Shouldn't be too much of a nuisance. Right now, it's windy. You should see Joe Tamburino's hair from walking in. It's 16, wind blowing it's up to 20 miles an hour here on CCO.
Jason DeRusha is back on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, you guys know I love game shows. And I love when people just melt down. Absolute failure. Geography is tough, but I don't know if what happened. I mean, is this a sign that we're just lost as a people? This from the Family Feud.
Top 4 answers on the board. Name a U.S. state that is part of New England.
All right, pause it right there. A U.S. state that's part of New England. All right, you guys have some answers, right? Is one of your answers this?
New England.
Yeah, just couldn't come up with it.
New Hampshire.
No.
Stanley.
Massachusetts.
Should be. Yeah. All right. That one's on the board.
New York.
New York. Pass or play?
Play.
All right, here we go.
Name a U.S. state that is part of New England.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Okay. I mean, now it's only the top 4 answers on the board, right? So then it gets really troubling.
Jasmine, name a U.S. state that is part of New England.
Maine.
That's reasonable, Maine. Let's see.
Maine.
All right. Now, this is going to go south real fast here,
Name
Dan.
a U.S. state
Mhm.
that is part of New England.
Spain.
Name a U.S. state that is part of New England. Spain.
No, that's not on the board. It's not on the board. Spain is not. I mean, I understand some of this is open to debate, right? Could you name? I mean, when you think about New England, like what's in, what's out? I would say there are 6 states in New England, right? Joe Tamburino is coming up, top of the hour. Joe, if you were to name a state in New England, you would say
Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut,
and Massachusetts.
And Massachusetts.
That's it. There's your 6. How about that? Very well done. Very well done. Spain would not be in
Spain would not be in.
It's hard when the pressure's on. When the pressure's on, it's tough maybe to come up with the right answers. Joe's going to stick around in our next hour. We're going to get into the legality of some of the stuff that Elon Musk is doing. Jury selection pretty quick for the main event for the Feeding Our Future fraud trial. And I want to ask about banning pit bulls because another story in the news today, I don't know, I sort of think it would be a good idea.
What's your love language? Maybe it's letting your loved one sleep in for a full night's sleep or giving someone the gift of being pain-free. Whatever it is, Mini Leaf has your perfect Valentine's Day gift. You can give the gift of being pain-free and have better sleep and a whole lot of fun. Check out minileaf.com, MINNELEAF.com. Minileaf is the home of Minnesota's best legal products. I use these products. I would not recommend them to you if I didn't. Mark has used them. We have both experienced the benefits from the Triple Diamond Pain Cream. It's such relief. And also those sleep night gummies, the best night's sleep I have had in a while. No pharmaceuticals needed. Check out the true benefits of CBD. You can see they're 100% natural Mini Leaf products, and you can look at the studies on the website. Minileaf.com. MINNELEAF. Tell them Jordana sent you.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, HIMS can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
A dry winter can cause crack, itchy skin, and sore throats. Getting a whole home humidifier from Metro Heating and Cooling can help you get in the comfort zone on price and performance. Visit metroheating.com.
Metro Heating and Cooling.
The station of record for the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and the Upper Midwest. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Always streaming on the free Odyssey app.
On the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. I'm Michael Wallace. A dozen Democratic state attorneys general just announced they will file a lawsuit to try to block Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from accessing government payment systems that contain personal data. Earlier today, Illinois Congressman Sean Casten and his fellow House Democrats introduced a bill to protect taxpayer data from Doge.
The actions that Musk and his IT goons have taken they're illegal, very clearly illegal, but so far unprosecuted actions have already compromised millions of Americans' privacy and data security.
President Trump's proposed buyouts for federal workers are in limbo. A judge has temporarily blocked them and set a hearing for Monday. Jackie Simon of the American Federation of Government Employees is urging workers not to take the offer.
They're certainly required to trust Elon Musk and Donald Trump that they'll fulfill the terms of the contract. Their past behavior suggests that that might not be a good assumption.
Virginia Democratic Senator Mark Warner applauded the delay.
I don't believe it's been funded. I don't believe Donald Trump has any history of ever paying his bills. And I fear that federal employees may be marked for later riffing, potentially without any compensation.
The offer states workers who leave would be paid through September, but as of now, the government is only funded through mid-March. The NCAA is updating its transgender athlete policy.
Following the Trump administration's executive order, the NCAA will now limit competition in women's sports to student athletes assigned female at birth only. A student athlete assigned male at birth may not compete for an NCAA women's team, but is allowed to practice with that team and receive the same benefits such as medical care. The NCAA says the president's order provides a clear national standard. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
President Trump suffered another legal setback today. Here's Loyola law professor Lori Levinson.
The federal judge in Washington not only ruled against Donald Trump's executive order trying to bar birthright citizenship, but he actually scolded the president and the government as well.
The judge said birthright citizenship is a fundamental constitutional right. In Altadena, near Los Angeles, the Reverend Al Sharpton is visiting black families who are trying to recover from the wildfires.
These families need to be restored, and there should not be bias between how you handle one side of the victims and the other.
Southern California Edison says one of its idle transmission lines may have started the Eaton fire, but there's no evidence of that yet. More rain is in the forecast for Southern California tonight, and that's raising concerns about possible mudslides in burned areas. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly sunny, windy, 18 degrees at 4:03. I'm Laura Oakes. It is a full house in the Minnesota House of Representatives after an unusual start to the session.
Members, a quorum is present.
Secretary of State Steve Simon gaveling in the session just a short time ago. This after leaders agreed to a power sharing agreement, which includes GOP Representative Lisa Demuth becoming Speaker of the House. On the House floor, Republican Representative Dave Baker nominated Demuth officially, praising her attributes.
While recent weeks have tested us all, today is a day that we come together, that we move forward, and that we restore the work of the People's House.
The power sharing agreement calls for Republicans to chair all House committees for the next month with their 67-66 advantage. Although a March 11th special election for a Roseville area seat is expected to bring the chamber to a tie. After that, Democrats and Republicans will co-chair committees. A Minneapolis City Council committee votes to approve a motion that would table a plan to reopen George Floyd Square to traffic and instead pursue the idea of turning the intersection into a pedestrian mall. Councilmember Katie Cashman.
For me, I think the most important thing is honoring the sacred nature of George Floyd Square and ensuring that people can safely gather in this space for years to come. And for that, I believe we need a strong pedestrian component to be formalized in the design.
That option is opposed by Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, who says it is not supported by either neighbors or business owners in the area. It is also opposed by Councilmember Andrea Jenkins.
I'm really disgusted by this political game that's being played.
The motion now goes to the full city council. Minneapolis Public Works Director Tim Sexton says any further delays will prohibit the project from being completed this year. A trial date of May 15th is now set for the man accused of driving drunk and crashing his car into the Park Tavern patio last summer, killing 2 people. The attorney for 56-year-old Stephen Bailey told the judge that Bailey had completed his alcohol addiction program. He faces 2 counts of third-degree murder, 2 counts of criminal vehicular homicide, and 9 counts of criminal vehicular operation related to that crash. More protests at the University of Minnesota today, this one having to do with the Trump administration's immigration plans.
Students for a Democratic Society wants the U of M to be a sanctuary campus.
Immigrants are welcome here.
organizer Juliet Murphy.
We want to show that with whatever what comes in the future, we have a strong student body here who really wants to support and care about each other, and we're going to fight for each other, no matter immigration status.
The students are angry that the university said they would comply with ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
I was not expecting the university to outright take such a reactionary approach to things, considering that other universities have tried to mediate how much they're willing to protect their students. So I'm very upset about that.
Their goal is to let the school know they won't be docile or silent about the U of M's approach. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
In WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
494 westbound near Penn Avenue, possible crash working. Things are already slow past Lindale. The crosstown running on the slower side of things as you make way between Cedar and Tracy Avenue. West 94 continues to be a slow ride. Riverside into the Lowry Hill Tunnel. And 94 westbound, some slowing Hemlock Lane to Weaver Lake Road. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
In its centennial year, the DAV of Minnesota remains dedicated to helping thousands of veterans access the benefits they've earned. And you can make a difference. Volunteer to transport veterans, advocate for improved programs, or donate today at davmn.org.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by DAV of Minnesota. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
That old wind slowly settles down tonight. We'll fall back to about 6 with a partly cloudy sky. Both of your commutes will be fine tomorrow. That snow doesn't arrive until late. Most of the snow falling overnight into the first half of the day on Saturday. Still think we could pick up about 3 to 6 inches. Some areas could see 4 to 8 inches of snow. A winter storm watch does include the Twin Cities. 22 will be the high on Saturday. The snow is out of here for Sunday.
Mostly clear right now, still windy, 18 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Putting a spotlight on local issues, building connection with our community. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie, just DeRusha. It's drive time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise.
I'm super excited to introduce to you
Jason DeRusha.
All right, hour number 2 of Drive Time with DeRusha. It is Thursday. It's Dan Cook and my Friday, though. We are off tomorrow. We'll miss you. We'll miss you. Dan's like, not really. Dan will not miss me either. Well, that has been made very clear. I'll miss you, Dan. That's not true. That's a straight up lie. We are streaming on YouTube. If you've ever wondered what this show looks like, I don't know why you would, but if you have wondered, we are streaming live on the WCCO Radio YouTube channel. So just go to youtube.com/WCCO Radio. This live broadcast should be right there for you, but if not, click on the live tab. And off you go. Joe Tamburino is with us today. I was trying to think, Joe, like we need like a name for this, right? Like court chat or
sure, we could do that. Court chat.
Judge Joe. I mean, we don't want to make. Would you ever want to be a judge?
No, I have never. I've been doing this going on 36 years. I have never applied to be a judge, never tried to be a judge.
Joe is a criminal defense attorney, owner of the Tamburino Law Group here in the Twin Cities, been a legal analyst for us since this show started. Wouldn't want to be, why not?
It's just not what I want to do.
Just can't take the pay cut? Is that the deal?
Yeah, exactly.
This is why I don't want to be the governor. I can't
Yeah,
take the pay
exactly.
cut. No, thank you. Yeah, it is sort of a different skill set.
It is. And not only that, you're doing a lot of things that I really have no interest in. I have no interest in doing things like, apartment law, landlord tenant things. And you've got to go around and do all that stuff, sort of like a dog and pony. And I just don't want to do that.
You don't get to go right into the criminal.
No. I mean, yes, when you build up seniority, you could in most counties, most jurisdictions, you could, trade. Hey, I'll take civil block if you want to take criminal. But if your idea is you're going to become a judge and you're going to do some really
sexy stuff,
the really interesting stuff. No, that's not up to you. There's chief judges. There are rules. You just can't grab the best case you want.
Well, how are we going to get any judges from the younger generation? Don't they want to just skip right to
There's plenty of them. There's plenty of them. There's so many people who apply to be a judge every year. So many. You wouldn't believe it.
Good people mostly, you think? Yeah. That's a classic attorney. I'm asking. It's like asking the NBA player what they think of the refs.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
All right. Joe's here. Oh, a texter says we should reprise Point of Law. Point of Law.
Oh, I like
Long
that. Point of
time
law.
segment.
That's good. You have great listeners.
That's pretty good. All right. Well, let's start with the first point of law to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Elon Musk and the federal sort of reach that we've seen by President Donald Trump. Many people have been asking me, is this legal? This seems illegal. And already we have seen, there are a lot of different categories here, right? Where you look at the executive order, that approach. We saw Joe Biden, the court told Joe Biden, no, like you can't unilaterally change the student loan system. Donald Trump has already seen judges say, no, you can't get rid of birthright citizenship. Maybe we should start with that executive order stuff. How legal is that, or how do we know if it's legal or not?
I don't think it's really legal at all. And that's what you got right to the point with the executive order. You cannot form a federal department by executive order. For instance, when the Department of Homeland Security was formed in 2002, right after 9/11, it was done by congressional law. They had to pass a law. The president signed it. Now, there are agencies that the executive branch could form, but those agencies help carry out the law. They enforce the law. For instance, under the Department of Homeland Security, you have ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. That's an agency. So right off the bat, DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiency, it's not a department. And, words matter, at least from a legal point of view. When I see words that don't make legal sense, I don't like it. So right off the bat,
because it's not a department.
It's not a department. No, it's not like
the agency, or what would you call it?
I guess
ad hoc thing.
You could call it an executive agency, but an executive agency would not have this much power. Only a department would have it, because what people don't realize is there is a plethora of federal laws for privacy. We have the big Privacy Act from 1974. We've got the Graham Act from 2002, I believe it is. We've got a whole bunch of laws with the IRS, bankruptcy, everything about privacy. And normally our personal information is only used on a need-to-know basis with the federal government. So if you are doing an investigation in the IRS, sure, it's important to see what is DeRusha's or Tamburino's or Cook's information is. But you simply can't just walk into the IRS and say, hey, give me Dan Cook's tax returns 2 years ago. That's the problem.
So the concern is you look at, and we've seen Elon Musk and his team has had access to sort of some of the Treasury Department payment records.
Right.
And from the perspective of Musk and his team and Donald Trump, they're saying, well, if we're going to find the inefficiencies, if we're going to find the waste, they've got to have access to like what's going on. Is there a way they could do that that's legal, or is this just a privacy train?
Sure, you do it through a department.
You need a department.
Yeah, and here's the bottom line with all this. This is really, I blame the Congress, because Congress for the last 50 years, especially for the last
done crap.
Well, and they're the first branch of government to always give away their power. People should be writing, emailing, calling their senators and their congressional representatives and say, stop being scared children and always worried about getting reelected every 2 or 6 years, and do your job. Because Congress has the power to stop all of this nonsense, and it doesn't. It won't flex its muscle because they're usually in a corner worried about whether or not they're going to get reelected.
Yeah. Joe Tamburino is with us. There are a couple other categories. Maybe we could ask about the legality of some of the stuff we're seeing from this nascent second version of the Trump administration. But pending most immediately is the lawsuit that's challenging the buyout, this sort of early retirement, if you will, plan that has been proposed by Elon Musk. And I will say, personally, I think the idea of offering a buyout is amazing. Like, you want to shrink the size of the government, you want to cut some salary, offer a buyout, makes sense to me. But the legal challenge is going to be heard on Monday. What is the question there?
Well, there's a number of questions. The biggest one is going to be collective bargaining. Many federal employees have a union contract. So you cannot just come in and say, hey, guess what? We're going to give you 8 months to, or if you accept
Even if people
this,
choose to accept it?
you've got it. It's got to be, and I'm not a labor law attorney, but you have collective bargaining laws that you're going to have to go through. Additionally, the department itself, like say the Department of Education, you want to lay off a bunch of people there. Well, that's going to have to happen through the Department of Education, not through an advisor to the president. Because, and here's what I just like to point out. A lot of people who think, well, this is great. Musk is coming in and he's going to clean house. Remember, it was only a year ago where people complained about George Soros and his son, I think it's Andy Soros, who had basically almost unlimited access to President Biden. They were at the White House all the time. So the right would complain about the Soros influence with Biden. And now the left is complaining about Musk's influence, but both are right. There shouldn't be this kind of influence.
You should really have Congress
absolutely
being Congress.
That's right. Congress should be Congress.
And same with like dissolving USAID or dissolving the Department of Education. Should that go through Congress?
Yes, because Congress has the power of money. They get to decide how much money to put to something, how much to raise in taxes, if they want to lower taxes. There's a whole bunch of powers that they have, and they simply don't use it.
It's interesting.
It is. Yeah.
All right, Joe Tamburino, stand by. We have 2 more legal issues I want to ask you about. The Feeding Our Future trial, the central sort of kingpin of that will go on trial next week. Jury selection very fast. Does that surprise Joe? And pit bulls, another serious injury from a pit bull attack. Could we ban pit bull ownership? We'll talk about that with Joe Tamburino next on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha is hitting the off-ramp for a quick stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's have some fun this weekend. Let's get out there. Yes, it's going to snow on Saturday, but let's enjoy the Minnesota winter. And why don't you do it with one of the coolest events that we've had here in the Twin Cities in the last decade? The Minnesota Ice Festival is at TCO Stadium, the Vikings training facility right in Eagan, or the Minnesota Aurora, the home of the Minnesota Aurora. You get to go right on the field, which has been transformed to the world's largest ice maze, 18,000 square feet. Huge ice blocks creating this wall, LED lighting throughout the whole thing. It looks so cool. Dead ends abound. This is a real ice maze, not like a pretend, like, oh, you just walk through, do. No, I went with my wife this weekend. I'm not kidding. It took 20 minutes for us to get through it. Is it because I'm a fool? Perhaps. But when you get stuck in a dead end, there's a beautiful ice sculpture, or there's part of a scavenger hunt. It's just great fun. They've got an ice slide, warming tent with ice bars, great drinks, food trucks from all over the Twin Cities, great family fun, great way to embrace and enjoy winter. And only 2 more weekends. It's this weekend and next weekend, and then it's gone. MinnesotaIceFestival.com is the website. Get your ticket and do it today at MinnesotaIceFestival.com.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer-detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
What's your love language? Maybe it's letting your loved one sleep in for a full night's sleep, or giving someone the gift of being pain-free. Whatever it is, Mini Leaf has your perfect Valentine's Day gift. You can give the gift of being pain-free and have better sleep and a whole lot of fun. Check out MiniLeaf.com, MINNELEAF.com. Mini Leaf is the home of Minnesota's best legal products. I use these products. I would not recommend them to you if I didn't. Mark has used them. We have both experienced the benefits from the Triple Diamond Pain Cream. It's such relief. And also those Sleep Night gummies, the best night's sleep I have had in a while. No pharmaceuticals needed. Check out the true benefits of CBD. You can see they're 100% natural Mini Leaf products, and you can look at the studies on the website. MiniLeaf.com. MINNELEAF. Tell them Jordana sent you.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at MiniLeaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt?
Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-1010. 800-885-1010. Again, that's 800-885-1010.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
This is not bold. It's stupid, buffoonish, childish. This is just amateur hour.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Joe Tamburino with us, criminal defense attorney here in downtown Minneapolis. A great legal analyst. We're glad to have him on a number of different topics in the legal sphere with us. So the Feeding Our Future trial is underway. Jury selection in really the most highly publicized incident of fraud in the country related to COVID. Amy Bach, the former leader of Feeding Our Future, will go on trial. The jury selection only took a day. This goes to something you and I have talked about for years, which is we love our neighbors, but people have lives, and getting 12 or 14 or whatever they seated people who don't really have a strong opinion on this is a lot easier than a lot of us nerds who follow all the news would think, right?
Yes, that's absolutely true. I mean, it is something that they got it all done within one day for a trial that's likely going to take 3 or 4 weeks. They got 12 jurors and 4 alternates. But you're right. I mean, we are news junkies. We read everything, we listen, we watch. But, there are a ton of people out there that if you ask them, hey, have you ever heard of X, Y, and Z? They would say no, or just minimally they have information. Yeah.
What is her defense in this? Because there are so many government witnesses who have already pleaded guilty, who are certainly going to say, well, we did this because Amy Bach told us that, we could make a bunch of money doing it. I would think there's a lot of, there's got to be paper trail and text and calls and all sorts of stuff.
Exactly. I think whatever defense she's going to do, it's going to be very difficult because she's going to have to say that, yes, we were able to get this money, but I honestly thought that when the money was going out and it was going to all of these locations on Lake Street or wherever else it went, I honestly thought that that was going to feed kids. The problem's going to be that it was so enormous, her co-defendant, Mr. Saeed, he had that restaurant or kitchen off of Lake Street. And supposedly, what they're charging him he supposedly did about 6,000 meals a day in COVID to kids. Now, that's just one of these places. That's a lot of meals. That's a lot of meals. And I think it's going to be difficult to form a defense with that.
We'll see, right? But the evidence looks really tough against her.
Well, yeah, and think of it this way, too.
She's the one that filed the lawsuit against the state saying that the state was being racist when they tried to shut this down originally.
And that's really the sad thing about all this, which is this could have been stopped, I think, if we had better state government agencies who would have looked at this back then and said, you know what, there seems to be something wrong with Feeding Our Future and we have to investigate it. Instead, it looks like the state didn't do anything until the feds stepped in, and the feds have been doing a very good job.
Joe Tamburino with us. This story today gets to an issue that I have thought about for a long time. Pit bulls. The story in the Star Tribune saying 3 dogs attacked and seriously wounded a 6-year-old girl in her babysitter's home in southwest Minnesota, so sort of in the Marshall area. But this poor little girl just mauled by pit bull or pit bull mixed breed dogs. Now, I know that there are good pit bulls out there, and I also know that a toy poodle never kills someone. And when you look at bites and attacks, I just don't understand why we have accepted that people can have pit bulls. Could you ban a breed? Could you ban pit bull?
Yes, you can, because what it would be what's called basically a rational basis test, meaning that the government can make a law on something, local government, county, state, federal, as long as it's not, violating certain rights of people, because then it would be a different standard. But if it's just basically governing conduct or what people can own, you can do that. And some cities across the U.S. have banned pit bulls. Now, the issue becomes, well, how much of a mix? Is it just any pit bull blood?
That's the tough,
That's
right?
the tough one.
Because if you look in the, and already people are texting, well, you're trying to ban a dog based on its appearance is no different than saying all black people are criminals. First of all, whoa,
Yeah,
it is quite different.
Yeah.
And it's not based on its appearance.
That's right.
It's based on the incredible track record of injuries and deaths.
That's right. And here's the
And
difference.
You've done these cases.
Oh, yes, we do them in our personal injury practice. And I have to say, just, going through in my mind all of the cases that we've done, at least half have involved pit bulls. Now, some, it's true, have involved Akitas, and
Sure.
sometimes there are these animals that are part German Shepherd and part wolf, which I still don't understand why people do that.
They did it, yeah.
But so many are pit bulls. So yes, you could ban them. The issue would be to what degree,
And
because
that is the hard part.
that's going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
But you could also require certain, parameters on owning them. So what would that be? You'd have to have insurance. They'd have to be kept in certain areas. You can surely say, as a government, if you have this type of an animal, here's what you have to do to protect the public. Just like some homeowners policies, some insurance policies will say, we don't insure pit bull. Most homeowners insurance policies, they will cover if your dog bites the neighbor.
Sure.
But many of them will say, we cover dogs, but not pit bulls.
Yeah, I just think a texter says, I can't own a wolf or a lion or a tiger.
That's right.
And I think, to me, there's just enough evidence at this point for me. I understand if you have a pit bull and your pit bull is great. I understand that. I'm sure somebody has a tiger and that tiger is great, but I don't think most people should have them. I really
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And, people who say, well, they're going to extrapolate from dogs into humans, human beings have free will. Dogs really have, they are trained, they're trained to obey orders, and they have their own nature. So I'm not a dog expert, but I would seriously look into banning certain breeds.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's hard. And for sure, the mixed breed part of it makes it challenging. If you look at Minneapolis animal control and see the dogs that are up for adoption, you're going to see it's going to be almost all pit bull.
Yeah.
And so, or a mix.
A mix.
And the challenge is, how do you, if you're going to ban it, how do you, what are we doing? DNA tests? What are we doing?
I know. And that's
then with the
hard
mix,
thing.
it gets hard to do.
Oh, that's the hard thing. Just like with the shepherd wolf mix, which I feel so bad for those animals, because you're taking a wolf, which is an outdoor predator. It should not be domesticated. And you're taking half of its genes and putting it into a domesticated animal. I feel so bad for those animals.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think we're so selfish, right? We're designing these animals to please ourselves.
Right.
And the reason that you have so many pit bulls is because, look, you don't get a pit bull because you're like, I just love this breed. Like most people, some do, fine, some do, but many, many people are getting it for protection or to look tough. When your dog is named Felony, I think we understand what the bid is. I don't know.
Excellent Felony. I like that name. Yeah.
Yeah. And for sure, you got to question the logic of a babysitter having a couple of pit bulls and sending. Sometimes parents are desperate. You need someone to watch your kid, whatever. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. But I certainly would not let my 6-year-old go to a house with.
And there's going to be, according to what we've read in the paper, there's an investigation going on, and it's going to be reviewed by the county, because depending on these pit bulls' bite history, they could have been classified as a dangerous animal, which means that the owner could be in criminal problems in the future.
Interesting. Joe, really good stuff. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
One texter said a point of law, which is an old school Steve Cannon bit that used to happen on this show. Your wife had a suggestion.
Yes, she texted in, and her suggestion, I'll tell you right now, is Legally Speaking with Joe and Jason.
All right, that's pretty good. I mean, that has to be your favorite now because, you have to go home. So if Amy says legally speaking,
that's what I got to do.
That's your favorite for sure. But we'll come up with a name for this, and we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Joe Tamburino here on CCO. We will break. Oh, I have a question for you to head to break because we're going to do DeRusha Eats in a minute, talking about this weekend, talking about the big game. So many people have parties. I'm going to have a party at my house. What is your favorite Super Bowl party food? And then what is the most overrated? What is your favorite?
Totino's pizza rolls. I love Totino's pizza rolls. Plus, when they're in the oven and as they're baking, I throw on hot pepper and Parmesan cheese to let it all crust up on top, give it a little zest. That is my favorite.
You got to be careful about eating that right away. You're going to burn the heck out of it.
Well, and not only that, you got to watch out for the calories because I could pop those like popcorn. I mean, forget about it.
That's very good.
I love the Totino's pizza rolls.
Most overrated? What you don't want?
Oh, nachos. I mean, I love nachos, but they're really overrated at Super Bowl because sometimes, people make them with horrible cheese. You can't make them with Velveeta. Do not do that. No. And so it depends on the cheese you use.
And you only get it's good on top and then nothing on
you got to know what you're doing with nachos.
Joe Tamburino has set the table for you. 651-461-9226. Favorite Super Bowl food, most overrated, and you can also send us a voice message. If you listen on the Odyssey app, just click on the microphone right next to Listen Live. Send us a message. We're talking Super Bowl food when we come back.
We need a quick pit stop. Then Jason DeRusha continues on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I have one more question for Joe Tamburino.
Oh, sure.
Joe, how do I smell today, would you say?
Oh, I think you smell fine. I've noticed nothing,
nothing, no
bad.
Off-putting scent.
No. Mm-hmm.
So earlier today, I went over to J.H. & Sons at the Galleria. Wonderful men's clothes. You're a well-dressed guy.
Oh, thank you.
You got to go see my friend Kevin at the Galleria at J.H. & Sons. The whole team over there, it's all a bunch of guys who used to work at Hubert White.
Yes.
Or used to work at Saks. The best men's clothing experts and the best tailor in town. Right there, Dean. This guy is unbelievable. J.H. & Sons at the Galleria, top-notch service. They have the best brands. But right now, as we get ready for Valentine's Day, a lot of women out there, maybe you want flowers, maybe you want chocolates, maybe you want a nice dinner, maybe a book, maybe a love note. What your guy maybe wants is a wonderful new cologne. And J.H. & Sons has an incredible selection of men's fragrances. But then think about like a special wallet or a unique belt. J.H. & Sons has all sorts of things that would be terrific gifts. And honestly, if you're not the most creative person in the world, get a gift card. You can go to jhnsons.com, sign up for their email list, but go visit the store. Tell Kevin, tell Bryce that you heard it right here on CCO.
Well, who the hell are you? You know. You all know exactly who I am. Say my name.
Do what? I don't have a clue who you are.
Yeah, you do.
You're just some radio station.
You sure? Now, say my name.
News Talk 830 WCCO.
You're damn right.
We're pretty skilled at both breaking bad and making good. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Serving the Twin Cities in Western Wisconsin, I'm Mike Coynan, host of Retirement Reality. Retirement planning can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Let's tackle your retirement questions together this Sunday at 6:30 a.m. on News Talk 830 WCCO.
In almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it is a one and done. Because we don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Valspar products make any project easy. Valspar Exterior Stain and Sealer makes preserving your fence a breeze. Valspar Reserve makes updating the den a piece of cake.
Red velvet.
And giving your siding new life with Valspar Defense is a walk in the park. So no matter what projects are on your list, Valspar has everything you need to make it a day at the beach. Valspar, made for more. Get it at Lowe's.
Imagine placing an investment or trade without fear. Knowing that big institutions have taken the same trade as you, pushing the price higher, which only they can do. You get to ride the wave of institutional demand. If not, your plan will protect you from the downside. This is how our students are taught to invest in trade. Right now, you can sign up for a free investing class where we'll outline our strategy for following the smart money. Text investing to 210-210. We'll also review strategies for growing a retirement portfolio, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, and how to protect your investments against inflation. With a 25-year history, local classrooms, and one-on-one support, you're not alone. And now it's your turn. Sign up for a free investing class today. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop in, store online. Got your slowdowns place, West 94. Been there pretty much most of the afternoon, Riverside into the downtown stretch. Shopping South 35E, that's south through St. Paul down to Victoria. Crosstown jammed up both directions between Cedar and Highway 100. Celebrate Valentine's at Whole Foods Market. Prime members get 20% off no antibiotics ever New York strip steak and sustainable wild-caught lobster tails through February 14th. Cook a romantic surf and turf dinner for your special day. While supplies last, shop and store online. Terms apply. Jody Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Looking for senior living options? Jordana here. I invite you to check out award-winning New Perspective Senior Living with 10 communities in the Twin Cities Metro. They offer you a friendlier approach to senior living. Call 888-229-2298. 888-229-2298.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather forecast brought to you by New Perspective Senior Living. Here is WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The wind backs off tonight. It's going to be a cool night, falling back to about 6. Most of the day tomorrow, pretty quiet. Only a high of 20. That's about 6 degrees below average. But the snow will hold off until late. No issues with either commute or school bus stops or anything like that. Most of the snow falling early Saturday morning into the early afternoon hours. We are under a winter storm watch. Still think we could see 3 to 6 inches. There could be a town or two in the 4 to 8 inch range. Fortunately, it won't be very windy on Saturday, so we won't have blizzard conditions.
It is very windy right now, though. 20-mile-an-hour winds in downtown St. Paul. It feels like 0. Because of that wind, it is 15 on CCO.
Let's roll with more of Jason DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRusha. He has the eats.
Nobody brings you the Twin Cities restaurant scene like our favorite foodie. Now, Jason explores some of the great chefs, owners, and stories right in our own backyard as Drive Time transitions into DeRusha Eats.
And DeRusha Eats is brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board and our friends at Surdix. It is time for the Super Bowl. This weekend is the Super Bowl, Sunday. I know a lot of us are unenthused about the matchup, but there is an amazing tradition of the Super Bowl party, which is sort of amazing, right? Like how this has become such a cultural phenomenon. And because of it, a lot of us are planning, what are we going to eat? What are we going to serve? I want to know, what is your number one Super Bowl party food? Like if you show up at the party and it's not there, you're going to be a little miffed. 651-461-9226. There are polls, all sorts of polls. Number one, most popular Super Bowl foods. What do you think is the number one expectation, Dan? Like when you're at a Super Bowl party, What are you expecting? Like, yeah, they better have this.
It's got to be some form of chicken wings.
It's wings, right?
100%.
We are. I think I read like some data point that Americans are expected to eat 1.47 billion chicken wings for the Super Bowl. 1.47 billion. It's amazing. The National Chicken Council, which, does anyone believe Big Chicken on this issue, right? Like, if you're the National Chicken Council, how reliable are you here? But
it does kind of sound like a Meet Minneapolis crowd estimate.
It's very similar. Big Chicken says we're going to eat 20 million more chicken wings than we had last year. And they gave this data point that the chicken wings would stretch to and from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City.
Oh, come on.
To Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia about 63 times. Now, this is one of my favorite like TV news writer bits where you're like, you know what? I don't understand. I don't really have a true handle on just how many wings is 1.47 billion chicken wings. It's such a big number.
But if you lined them all up.
It's so dumb.
Come on.
It makes more sense, Dan. Now, I get it. 63 times back and forth from Canada. Give me.
Here's what doesn't make sense.
Okay.
We're going to eat 20 million more wings this year than last year.
Yes.
But eggs cost $5 more a dozen this year than last year because of the bird flu is killing all these birds. Does the bird flu not affect the birds that you get the chicken wings from, or is this a completely different product? What are we talking about?
Yeah. I don't know.
I smell a rat. A rat with a bird flu.
Are people going to think about bird flu? No. When they're eating chicken wings?
I hope not.
I feel like it doesn't, you just don't you don't think about it.
I don't know, but if the bird flu can get to the cows, because we're testing all the cows now, all this dairy milk for bird flu.
Pizza is on this list for America's favorite Super Bowl snack.
If you're a pizza delivery person, the Super Bowl is your Super Bowl.
Wings are number one. Wings have to be the most popular.
For sure.
I honestly, like last night, I was at Starling, which Starling is one of the Jester restaurants. They're kind enough to sponsor Cardi Sharks every Friday.
Fine restaurant group.
So I go to Starling in Edina, and we had some dry rub wings. They were delicious. I like chicken wings. I don't care if they're not. If you go to a Super Bowl party and there's no wings, I don't care. I would not be upset.
I wouldn't be upset.
It's about the dips for me.
It's the expectation.
It is an expectation.
If you're thinking of a generic Super Bowl party, what's
wings.
for sure
Pizza.
one of the foods they're going to have there? Wings would be number one on the list.
Pizza wings. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's all dip. All you're thinking about is dip. I'm going to have French onion dip. One year I made my own French onion dip.
Yeah?
And I told that story for 12 years later. Like, you know what?
Which made it more than worthwhile, I'm sure.
Well, Alyssa would text me every morning on every February morning during the Super Bowl time.
Yeah.
Because I would
talk about it on the air.
Yeah, I would tell this nonsense. Yeah. Like, you know what? I prefer to make my own. Alyssa's like, you did this once. One time you made your own. But I will tell you that
counts.
And I have done it more than one time. I've done it 3 times. And it's really freaking good. Like making your own French onion dip with like real onions. Oh, but you know what else is good? Just like
buying it at the store.
Kemp's.
Yeah.
Old Dutch, whatever. That's also good.
Whoever wants to sponsor another part of the show.
Who's ready? Who's ready?
Come on.
A lot of text with questions about chickens and chicken wings. Maybe a big chicken would let them grow up more. We would have enough eggs. Yeah.
I mean,
maybe. They're the wings from the birds. They got the bird flu. Yeah.
See, I smell shenanigans with these numbers.
A texter is telling us the truth. Eggs come from layer hens. Wings come from broiler birds. They're two different.
They're two different birds. So I get
two
that.
different birds.
But I'm saying if the bird flu can get from the chickens to the cows into the milk, why can't it get from the laying hens to the broiler birds? What am I missing?
So I think what you need. So this is a valid question.
Thank you.
You're asking.
Thank you.
And it would have been nice if you had asked me this earlier, and I could look it up. Now I'll tell you two things that you should know.
Sure.
One, because most people fully cook their chicken wings, people aren't doing like medium rare on chicken. If you cook your wings to 165,
you kill all the bird flu?
The CDC says you kill the bird flu. So you're
fine. Okay. So
whereas the egg
is raw. Okay, say.
I mean, we cook it, but it's
not to that temperature.
Correct.
Okay, so but here's the question that I initially was thinking is, we're going to be eating more wings. Why don't the wings cost more? Because if we're losing all these birds to the bird flu, there should be fewer birds from whence to get the said chicken wing.
I do think the cost of wings is up this year.
And that's why I challenge the assertion that we're going to eat 20 million more, because if they cost more.
You think we're going to be cheap about it? I think we don't care. We're like, no, it's going to be cheap. It's go time. We don't care. I don't know how much if you go to the store right now, what are wings costing you? And I looked at this. I was at the grocery store the other day, and I'm like, oh, I was at Costco today. I'm like, maybe I should buy chicken wings. But also I was thinking about maybe I should buy chicken wings that somebody else makes. I actually put a list out. Like if you subscribe to my newsletter at DeRushaDownload.substack.com, this week I sent out a list of like 10 restaurants where you can order Super Bowl takeout. So people have gotten very distracted by this wing scenario. I thought we were going to get overwhelmed with people's feedback on what their favorite food is.
So you're accusing me of having derailed the entire segment, is what you're saying.
It's actually very good information.
I mean,
you have brought very good information to the people. I was just going to screw around, and you brought useful information.
Well, it occurred to me when the statistic.
It's a reasonable question.
That we're going to eat 20 million more. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute.
I care about dips. Hummus. I like a hummus. I like a 7-layer dip. How do you feel about 7-layer dip?
3 guesses and the first 2 don't count.
You hate 7 layers.
Bingo!
Too many layers.
Too many layers. I can't handle too many layers. I don't like most dips to begin with. Then you start layering them up. It's just no.
Top the tater. How do you feel about top the tater?
I'm out.
How do you feel about a taco bar for Super Bowl food? Or would you prefer pizza?
The problem with the taco bar is it sounds really good, right? You can set out all the different stuff.
I like
People
a taco
can make their
bar.
own things.
Yeah.
But then it sits out there for a while, and stuff gets warm or wilty, or just it's not good. It's not good.
7-layer dip is a top choice, but queso. When you look for your top dip, queso, followed by buffalo chicken dip, followed by 7-layer dip. No. 3. So there was a ranking. And I think Minnesota picked buffalo wings as America's favorite. That was our favorite snack. Chips, number 2. Where are you on chips?
I like chips.
I bought 3 kinds of chips today for our Super Bowl party.
Okay.
I bought Cool Ranch Doritos.
If sure.
I bought like Costco brand rippled
potato chips.
Rippled. That's the word I'm looking for.
Ruffles is a brand, but I get
rippled
yeah.
potato chips.
Yeah.
Like kettle chip
Yeah.
And I bought pita chips. Like the naked pita chips, they're called. Those were the 3 chips and we have tortilla chips already.
Right.
Rank your chips.
Of that group?
Yeah.
The Cool Ranch Doritos, number 1.
Yep.
The regular tortilla chips, number 2.
Okay.
Then the Ripple with the kettle chips.
Yeah.
And then the pita chips.
Dots pretzels.
Oh, those are so good.
We do have a bag. We already have a bag of Dots pretzels.
those are very
That's for the texters say Dots pretzels are de rigueur and pizza rolls are low-class preteen food. That's fair.
I don't know, but I think the way Joe dresses them up, that sounded
The
pretty
Joe
good.
Tamburino pizza bowl.
That's pretty good.
That did sound good. Sloppy Joes or I don't go. Keep the text coming at 651-461-9226.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRusha coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
How can you celebrate the big game without some sort of bacon wrap something? It's Jason here for our friends at the Minnesota Pork Board. Now, I want you to go to mnpork.com. I'm heading there right now. You go to mnpork.com, you click on Pork 101 and all recipes. And you're going to get some great ideas for your weekend dinner, your weekend party. How about air fryer barbecue pork riblets? That sounds pretty good for your big game party. Air fryer pork belly tacos? Oh, yeah, that's just right on the first page of recipes you could be cooking up for people coming over to your house. Now, you want something a little more fancy? How about grilled pineapple miso pork chops? That sounds like a nice Saturday night dinner, doesn't it? Or grilled pork tenderloin with avocado green sauce. All of these ideas for you, thanks to the Minnesota Pork Board, 3,000 family farmers, every corner of the state. They just want you to have a great time this weekend. Enjoy the big game. Enjoy the high protein, lean, delicious, safe, local Minnesota pork. Get to that grocery store or butcher shop and let's have Minnesota pork this weekend.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychic.
You know, we've all gotten unsolicited cash offers for our homes. I get it. It can make moving less stressful. But if you go that route, there's a good chance you'll be leaving money on the table. Hey, it's Vanita. If you're thinking of selling and don't want the stress, call my buddy, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group Coldwell Banker Realty. Corinne just worked with John to sell a loved one's home. She wanted the convenience and she got it. John helped her. His marketing system helped get multiple offers for Corinne's home. All the attention led to her home selling for $30,000 over the asking, $75,000 more than that below market investor cash offer she originally got. Contact John for full details, 952-222-9000, online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer-detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan Silver Dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. Don't miss out on this special deal. Regularly priced at $49.95, but for a limited time, only $39.95. Save $10 per silver bar. Limit of 25 bars per customer. The more you buy, the more you save. Up to $250 in savings and free shipping on every order. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan Silver Dollar. That's a $59.95 value free. Call 1-800-386-7195 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan Silver Bars for only $39.95. That's 1-800-386-7195.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Slowdown display 610 westbound approaching 94, north 169, some slowing, County Road 81 as you head towards 610. 394 eastbound, watching slowdowns there from 100 into downtown Minneapolis. Over on the east side of the metro, east 94 dipping below the posted speeds on and off as you make way past basically John Island Boulevard heading out to Whitebear Avenue. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
All right, we're all watching to see what that snow looks like on Saturday. Chris Schaefer telling us we are under a winter storm watch Saturday from midnight to 6. That's sort of the snow zone. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 6. Tomorrow, it's going to be 20. The snow coming very late, so close to midnight, and then snowing in the early morning hours. 3 to 6 inches, maybe 4 to 8, depending on where in Minnesota you're at. Right now, it is dang windy. 20-mile-an-hour gusts. It is 12. It feels like 2 below on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
I was talking with a legislator about what percentage of Minnesotans we thought actually were paying attention to this. He said 15%. I said that was aggressive.
If that's the number, you take the under.
5%?
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Appreciate all the texts. Hope you guys have a lot of fun this weekend. Someone says I got to dip those Dots pretzels, into my legendary homemade French onion dip. Everybody talks about the DeRusha French onion dip for that 1 year I made it. It's just iconic. It is. Now do I have to make it? If anyone in my family is listening, I guess we're having homemade onion dip on Sunday. DeRush Hour News Headlines coming up.
Happy New Year. It's that time of year where we make lists and goals of things we want to get done. Jordana here. This may be a crazy time for you. And thinking about an estate plan is not top of mind, but it should be, especially in the new year. What would happen if something happened to you, if you became incapacitated or worse? Do you need a will or a trust? Well, when it comes to estate planning, there's lots of options out there. My friend Matt Gutman of Gutman Law can help you address your goals and concerns just like he did for me and my family. I went to him after my divorce, again during the pandemic, and when my oldest left for college. He helped me create a personalized estate plan to address my needs, my goals, and protect my loved ones. Matt Gutman and his partner, Jamie Reth Wagner, can help you create the exact same thing with your goals and your loved ones in mind. Cross this resolution off your list and contact Gutman Law today. Schedule a free, free estate planning consultation. 612-895-1616 or visit mnestatelaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
The news you need from the station you trust. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Always streaming on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Michael Wallace. FBI agents who worked on the January 6th investigation into Donald Trump are fearing retribution. CBS's Scott McFarland spoke exclusively with an agent we are not identifying because he fears for his safety. Scott asked him what it was like to fill out the questionnaire about which cases he worked on.
Really demoralizing, defeated. We all feel defeated, and for nothing. We don't feel like anyone has our backs.
More of the interview with that agent will air tonight on the CBS Evening News. A judge has temporarily blocked President Trump's proposed buyout offer for federal workers until at least Monday. Jackie Simon with the American Federation of Government Employees has this advice for the union's members.
Think once, think twice. Talk to an attorney, a personal attorney if they have one. Take a deep breath and think hard before they decide to sign the agreement.
Democratic attorneys general from a dozen states plan to sue to limit Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency's access to federal payment systems.
In a statement, they say they're taking action in defense of the Constitution, people's right to privacy, and essential funding that individuals and communities are counting on. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
A federal judge in Seattle has blocked Trump's order banning birthright citizenship. Democratic attorneys general, including Washington State's Nick Brown, had also sued over that.
We do not have a king. We have a president who must abide by the laws. And if they want to amend the Constitution, there is a process by which to do that.
CBS News has learned Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will visit Guantanamo Bay tomorrow. She wants to get an update on the conversion of the naval base into a detention center for thousands of undocumented migrants. With eggs in short supply due to bird flu, some customers are now hoarding eggs.
Thank you for shopping at Costco.
Like many grocery stores, Costco has been selling out of eggs on a daily basis.
All the egg substitutes were gone. Everything was gone at 10 o'clock.
That's why Mike Hahn arrived right when the store opened to get his eggs. Some customers have been buying hundreds of eggs at a time.
Not fair to the people who can't be here because they're working at 9 a.m. in the morning.
This store is now limiting shoppers to 3 cartons per person.
$13.49.
A Costco employee says some customers who bought too many eggs have been returning them past their expiration date. Matt Bigler for CBS News, Foster City, California.
A judge has just sentenced Los Angeles Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani's former interpreter to nearly 5 years in prison. Ipe Muzihara admitted to stealing millions of dollars from Ohtani to pay off his betting losses. He also will have to pay $18 million in restitution to Ohtani and to the IRS. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Oh, from Minnesota's radio station. Let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy, windy, 15 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes.
Members, a quorum is present.
That is something Secretary of State Steve Simon hasn't been able to say in a while. The Minnesota House getting back to business officially this afternoon after Republicans and DFLers reached a power-sharing agreement last night. The first order of business was to elect Representative Lisa Dameth as House Speaker. She is the first person of color and the first Republican woman to hold the post. DFLers had stayed away from the Capitol for nearly a month until the two parties agreed to that compromise. WCCO radio host and KSTP TV political reporter Tom Hauser on what pushed the needle.
The key thing is there was pressure building on both sides. And when Republicans finally had an offer they thought was good enough, that moved it far enough in their direction, they agreed to it.
Hauser says the big issue moving forward will be whether or not they can cooperate to come up with a budget before the end of the session in May. A Minneapolis City Council committee votes to push forward a plan for a pedestrian mall at George Floyd Square and table an open concept plan for the intersection supported by Mayor Jacob Fry that would reopen the area to traffic. Councilmember Andrea Jenkins telling members she's disgusted by what she calls a political game that's being played.
There has been 4.5 years of meaningful, authentic engagement with community members. Community members have considered a pedestrian mall and have said that is not what is desired.
Councilmember Jason Chavez supports the pedestrian mall plan and says there was no game playing involved.
We have said what we want. We have said how we want to move forward. We have given direction on a pathway to get this done. So I just want to make it clear that the conversation about delay, it's not a delay. We are choosing a pathway forward.
The motion now goes to the full city council. University of Minnesota students gathering today to protest President Trump's decision to allow ICE detentions on school campuses. Organizer Juliette Murphy says they're urging regents to designate the U as a sanctuary campus.
I have friends who are international students who are concerned about traveling back home and how that might affect their visas. Like, some of my friends have been advised not to leave the country. It sucks. Also, we want to show the surrounding community that we're here for each other, we're going to fight for each other, and we're not going to let this go, happen silently.
And there will be no Caitlin Clark to face this time, but the stakes are just as high for the Gopher women's basketball team as they host Iowa tonight. Head coach Dawn Plitzwhite speaking with Vanita Sokar on the WCCO Morning News.
They're a team that's on a roll right now, winners of their last 3 games, and just beat USC at home on Sunday, I guess that was. And so a team that's kind of red hot at this point in time, a team that can really shoot it from the arc and attacks you in a lot of ways.
The Gophers are 12-1 at home and on the verge of making it into this year's NCAA tournament. WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Relatively quiet out there. Got some slowing. Traveling south 35W has moved down from Stinson into downtown Minneapolis. If you're getting traveling eastbound 394, got some slowdowns there. Yeah, just come in from Highway 100, South 169. A little bit of congestion. Anderson Lakes Parkway heading down to Pioneer Trail. Jody Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616. At GutmanLaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by Gutman Law, wills, trusts, and probate law at GutmanLaw.com. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
That old wind slowly settles down tonight. We'll fall back to about 6 with a partly cloudy sky. Both of your commutes will be fine tomorrow. That snow doesn't arrive until late. Most of the snow falling overnight into the first half of the day on Saturday. Still think we could pick up about 3 to 6 inches. Some areas could see 4 to 8 inches of snow. A winter storm watch does include the Twin Cities. 22 will be the high on Saturday. The snow is out of here for Sunday.
Mostly clear right now, still windy, 15 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Welcoming a variety of viewpoints, fostering open discussion and compelling conversations.
God, I've been yelling at the phone for the last 5 minutes.
Thank you.
News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie. Just DeRusha. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching a cool, brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool that we decide what's cool. And now, here's your host,
Jason DeRusha.
All right, hour three underway of Drive Time with DeRusha. So glad to have you with us. We are seconds away from our extended version of the DeRush Hour News Headlines, featuring our new look at the front page, the big stories, the top stories that you'll be talking about tonight. But before we get to that, you know what? I just ate something. If you're watching us on the YouTube stream, you get to see, you're like, oh, DeRusha just had like a little snack, little protein bar. And now my mouth is just, well, I should know better. I am a professional broadcaster. I should not be eating moments before I go on the air. Sometimes you get hungry, Dan.
And it's a
like
short window.
show.
You got a little, short window there at the top of the hour. And if you don't think of it right away, and
then you're eating, and
you got to
you're
eat
like, oh, I
something.
gotta eat. It's like mush mouth. All right, I got it together now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, relatively speaking.
So we're going to, a couple of hot topics that I want to talk about, including a message that President Donald Trump put claiming that U.S. aid and the federal government has been paying off the fake news media. We'll break that down in a minute. But first, I want you to know that you can always send us a message. You don't have to call. You don't have to text. If you are listening live on the Odyssey app, or if you have the Odyssey app, go to the WCCO page. Right next to where you listen live, there's a microphone, and you can send us a message about any of the topics that we're talking about, or just whatever's on your mind. Send us a message, including a topic that we discussed with Joe Tamburino in our second hour. So you can podcast that on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever. But we were talking about pit bulls and whether it would be a good idea for pit bulls to be banned.
Hey, Jason, great show. I just have a comment about the pit bulls. Our dog actually was attacked by a pit bull 2 Saturdays ago at the Battle Creek Dog Park, and we were just fortunate enough that his injuries weren't that bad. And it's funny though. I put it on Facebook on our group there to see who the owner was, because she took off right away, and what I got back instead were people getting mad at me for criticizing pit bulls, and that was not my intention. My intention was to find the owner, to help pay the costs. It was pretty expensive what our dog had to go through that night. I'm thankful that our dog's fine, but pit bulls, yeah, I don't really care for them. I think they should be banned. It's just the simple fact that they can kill other dogs, and that's it. Thank you.
That's Robert in St. Cloud using the TalkBack voice message feature on the Odyssey app. So use that at any time. Send us a message. It comes right here to Dan and me. Even like when we're not on the air, you can always send us a message using the Odyssey app. It is time for the DeRush Hour News headlines, and we begin with the lead. Donald Trump hates the media. Does he? Donald Trump likes to pretend he hates the media. Earlier this afternoon, in all caps, President Donald Trump says, looks like billions of dollars have been stolen at USAID and other agencies, much of it going to the fake news media as a payoff for creating good stories about the Democrats. The left-wing rag known as Politico seems to have received $8 million. Did the New York Times receive money? Who else did? This could be the biggest scandal of them all, perhaps the biggest in history. In this case, President Donald Trump could not be full of more crap. It's not possible. Absolute nonsense. And I turn to noted right-wing cable news network News Nation, who asks, did the White House pay Politico? And the answer is yes. And was the White House paying Politico to subsidize the media outlet as some sort of left-wing effort? And that, News Nation says, is false. Politico was getting paid a fair amount of money.
Not through USAID, by the way, either. I think the USAID number is like $24,000.
All
not $8 million.
Federal agencies combined,
yes,
spent $8.2 million last year on Politico Pro, which is not a subscription to Politico. It's a paywalled. They have all sorts of different paywall things, just like you've maybe heard of Bloomberg. Bloomberg has their news feature, but they also have like a stock market tracking terminal that they sell. And it's really expensive. And for the government to subscribe to paid newspapers and to subscribe to paid services like Politico Pro, I don't know if Politico Pro is worth the money or not. I have no idea. You could make a case that having subscriptions is a waste of money, I guess. But every company has subscriptions to news organizations, to professional, paywalled, inside information type things. And that is not nefarious. That is not buying news. If that is the case, I am currently paying off the Star Tribune, DirecTV, Netflix, Apple TV Plus, Racket MN. I'm paying Rick Ellis and his All About TV Substack, Chris Saliza. These are people I am currently paying off to create good stories about me. Is that, I mean,
how's that working out for you?
Honestly, I am getting screwed.
I guess so.
So
we talked about this earlier. This is the crazy part of the whole thing is if you wanted to, as the federal government, say, hey, you know what? We don't probably need $8 million going for Politico subscriptions.
Great. Totally
Make it a
down
cost
with
cutting.
that.
Yeah, this is
Fine.
a Doge thing, right? Doge is coming in. We're cutting costs. Great.
That's happened here
You
where
can
it's like,
do
do we
that.
need 5 subscriptions to the Pioneer Press?
Right.
No. That's fine.
What you don't need to do is turn this into some giant tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that this is payoffs to the left-wing media.
Biggest scandal of them all.
Oh my God.
Give me a break.
It's a joke.
Just when they get me. And I'm like, I'm kind of intrigued by
Yeah.
what's going on here. Then it's
And they gotta do
always got to
some
take it
nonsense
to
like-
crazy town.
Yep.
And people have been arguing with me all day on Twitter.
Shocking, because that doesn't usually happen.
It is annoying now that I feel like I can only put certain messages on Blue Sky and other messages on Twitter because you guys are so polarized and so unopen to new information. Not you guys. Our listeners are wonderful.
Wonderful people.
Annoying. It's time for topic number 2. Topic number 2 on the DeRush Hour lead. And that is the federal employee buyout. If I were a federal employee, I would take it. And after just lambasting Donald Trump for some nonsense, I think offering a buyout to federal employees is a great idea. There is no question that Donald Trump and company have been focused on cutting the size of the federal government. And they've been talking big about we're going to get rid of this agency, we're going to get rid of that agency, which is almost certainly unconstitutional. Congress has to get rid of these agencies. I do think the fact that you're offering people a buyout and saying like, hey, we'll pay you, but leave. It gives people who don't want to be a part of this administration an exit plan. It has the potential to shrink the government employee pool by people who are choosing to leave instead of like Elon Musk decides to eliminate your department. These are people saying, you know what? I will take that payout. I will leave. I think it's great. I think it makes a lot of sense. Just like any company would offer buyouts to try to trim staff in a way that I think is humane. All of the yelling and screaming about this, I think, is a little ridiculous. Now, yes, people have labor contracts, and I understand you got to make sure it's legal. You got to make sure that the government is actually going to pay you what they're going to pay you. But currently, the New York Times said 40,000 people have opted in. Great.
Surely
let them go.
Surely you're not suggesting that Donald Trump has promised payment for services rendered and then not delivered on said payment before.
I've never seen that.
Why would you suggest such a thing? But no, as long as they're going through the labor contracts and this is not a violation of any of those labor contracts to offer this buyout, then people have that option. That's fine. Of all the things that are going on right now, to me, this is like the least offensive by a long shot.
Story number 3 in the DeRush Hour, whatever we're going to call this, the lead. Story number 3 is that the Minnesota House is back, baby.
Heck, baby. Let's go.
We're doing
Let's do it.
Congratulations to no one. It took almost 4 weeks for these guys to figure it out. It should have been done before things even got started. The final resolution is the logical resolution. And I understand that if you're a Democrat, you are not happy that you have handed over the Speaker of the House position to Lisa Dameth for 2 years. And to that, I would say, you guys caused this whole situation. You ran a candidate that did not live in the district. And so this would not have been an issue in a very safe Democratic district if you ran someone who lived in the district.
And you either knew that he didn't and wasn't, living up to the requirements to live in the district, or you didn't check and make sure that he was doing that. Either way,
they knew
that comes down.
There has been quite a bit of reporting that indicated they knew it was an issue, but they believed that he was going to legitimately move into the district.
Well, they didn't check on that, did they? Because he didn't.
They either didn't check or they thought that they wouldn't get busted. And they were. So you pay a price for that. You do.
You do. And you should.
And so to me, paying the price of giving the Speaker to the Republicans for 2 years, I think is reasonable.
With checks on that power too, by the way. It's not the standard speaker.
It's not
power.
the standard. And the ultimate check is the fact that you will likely have a divided, evenly divided House. So nothing is going to get done other than a budget.
And
even if that gets done is questionable. But I do think for the Democrats, they needed to make a deal because the public sees this in a reasonable manner, which is Democrats aren't coming to work and they are getting paid. And you can explain the logistics and the strategy behind that up and down. And I actually am like, I agree with what they did because there is a very good chance that the Republicans were going to refuse to seat Brad Tabke, even though a court said he should be seated. So I understand why the Democrats did what they did, but it's still a loser. So they had to make a deal, and they did. So I'm glad they're back, and we wish them well because we know nothing's going to get done.
Well, and I hope people pay attention. I really do, because they've screwed up the beginning of this session, clearly, and there's blame to go around. We knew this was going to be a difficult year with the budget. There has to be a budget, and you've got this divided House. We knew it was already going to be difficult. Now you've overly complicated it with the way that you've started this thing.
Yep.
Get your work done. This should not go to, if this goes to a special session, people should be outraged. Ooh. Absolutely outraged, because you've already loused up the beginning of this thing.
Great point.
Don't louse up the end of it, too. We know it's going to come down to the last minute anyway, because it always does. But get it done.
Oh, man. If they don't get it done, who pays a bigger price, the Republicans or the Democrats? I think the Democrats, because the Republicans say, like, hey, you cost us 4 weeks.
Probably the Democrats, but everybody should pay for that.
Get them all out. Now we're talking.
I'm just saying.
Now we're talking. Oh, I'm down for that. That is the lead. Next is page 2 of the DeRush Hour news headlines. And coming up after a break, a smoking ban taken to a whole new level at a place that's going to surprise you. Do you think cows communicate with each other? And local companies deleting their DEI pages. Who did it? We'll talk about it coming up.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRusha coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Arms wide out. Who do you think of right away? Who do you think of? You know. It's Chris Lindahl. It's Jason here for my friend Chris Lindahl. Alyssa and I worked with Chris last year when we were looking at houses in Minneapolis. Tens of thousands of people have experienced the high quality, the innovation that comes with Chris Lindahl Real Estate. And here is the situation. If you are like kicking the tires on a house, the guaranteed cash offer is not for you. If you are ready to move right now, maybe you're expecting more kids, maybe you're relocating for work, maybe your house is too much to take care of, or parents are moving into senior living. Maybe you just hate your neighbors. If you are ready to move right now, the guaranteed cash offer is the best way to get it done. You skip the headaches of negotiating with buyers. You're not paying commissions. You're not doing repairs. You're not doing showings. No sign in the yard. You don't have Vern coming over, going through your medicine cabinet or your underwear drawer. It is fast. It is easy. It is convenient. The best thing about it is that you're in control. So you get that guaranteed cash offer right now at chrislindahl.com. You decide if you like it. You pick the closing date. You are in control. If you are ready to move now, the guaranteed cash offer is how. Do it now at chrislindahl.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, HIMS can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
DeRusha now returns on News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRusH Hour News Headlines, page 2. A smoking ban taken to a whole new level in an unlikely place.
Oh.
We're talking about an outdoor smoking ban in Milan, Italy. The first major Italian city, reports the New York Times, to ban smoking outside unless the smoker is really far away from other people. Would you guys like this or not? No more huddling around the doors of office buildings, just, And those Italians look so cool smoking. I'm anti-smoking. I've never smoked in my life. It's high fashion. They're all wearing black, tailored, beautiful clothes, just smoking. Man.
I almost feel bad for the smokers at this point, though. Like, we've already banished them outside, and then we said you can't stand, within 150,000 feet of the building. And now we're going to tell them you can't stand next to another smoker?
In Italy, in Milan, smoking is banned everywhere except for isolated areas where it's possible to be at least 33 feet from other people. 33 feet.
Are they worried about the smoker getting secondhand smoke from another smoker?
Well, no, because the president of Milan's medical guild said that when people are 33 feet apart, it sort of doesn't matter because secondhand smoke is not really a danger outdoors because it dissipates.
So why do we need to?
They are trying to reduce the percentage of smoking. So by banning smoking in indoor spaces, it went from 22% to 19% of the population over age 14. But it just only went from 22 to 19. So they're trying to irritate the hell out of smokers.
This should do it.
So they stop smoking. Do you think cows communicate with each other? BBC reporting on a Dutch researcher. And honestly, when I read this story, I worried that this researcher maybe is a little too into cows. You know what I mean? Leonie Korneps is a sociolinguist. And in the field, when you say to other linguists, like, hey, what do you study people and the way they speak. What do you think happened to old Leonie? What's she doing researching the cows? They call it the animal turn. Old Leonie took the animal turn. For years, Leonie Korneps has spent her summer holidays on a farm. She was struck from the start by the different personalities of individual cows. She read an essay by a philosopher that asked why linguists never study animals. It affected her deeply. Just in case you think the only crazy people are here in America.
Nope, they're everywhere.
Language, say many linguists, is what makes us human. Animals may grunt or bark or chirp, but they do not possess anything that counts as language. There is a lot of research going on in this area to see if it is wrong, if animals do indeed use language as we traditionally understand it. According to Korneps, when a mother calls her calf, it sometimes takes 60 seconds for the calf to respond. The space in between is filled with bodily gestures. So ear wiggling and neck stretching, integral to cow language.
I mean, I can buy nonverbal communication between animals, right?
Probably.
To a degree. But language?
I don't know.
That seems awfully anthropomorphic. You know what I'm saying?
That's sort of what I think, that we apply what we do and try to make sense of things that don't make sense to us. But best wishes to Leonie Korneps, who took the animal turn.
Sure.
You know what happens when you take the animal turn, then that cow gets a little too, it's like, I think I think we know what that means. Sort of wild, maybe disappointing, maybe thrilling, depending on your viewpoint. But corporate America is deleting the web pages they had bragging about their DEI effort.
Delete! 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 Delete!
That is a live listen at the headquarters of 3M and Centerpoint Energy. MinnPost reporting that they have taken down the web pages related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. 3M DEI and Centerpoint DEI both had MinnPost. Pretty clever. Like, they looked it up, and they did have previous web pages focused on this. Now it's a 404 error. Centerpoint redirected to a new page on our workforce and community impact. Kind of crazy, I think. Are they changing their efforts, or are they just hiding because they can't talk about it now? Very, very strange. That's the DeRush Hour News Headlines. One of our texters who has cows says they can communicate with each other. I just hope they
communicate. Yes. Language?
Language. The question is language. Maybe. I don't know. All I know is that milk is delicious and so is steak. That's the DeRush Hour News Headlines. That's my communication. Love you, cows. Love your work. Love what you're doing. Tracy Perlman, our friend Tracy, is back with the Partay with this hot issue. How often do you wash your jeans? That and other hot topics with Tracy coming up.
Jason DeRusha and DriveTime needs to make a brief pit stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, ladies, do you have a Valentine's Day present for your guy yet? Maybe guys out there, do you have your Valentine present for the guy in your life? Now is the time. JH and Sons is the place. It's Jason. I was at JH and Sons at the Galleria in Edina. You walk in by Sweet Green, take a right, boom. Beautiful store. I know what you're thinking, Jason, I'm not going to go buy a sweater. I'm not going to go buy a suit coat. Fair enough. JH and Sons has amazing accessories that I really think I would love to get this for Valentine's Day. So think beautiful handmade belts or like a DOP kit. Beautiful leather Italian-made DOP kit that I saw today. I would love that. Alyssa, if you're listening, Closed Circuit. JH and Sons Galleria in Edina. Check it out. My friend Kevin directed me to a couple of beautiful fragrances. So I love cologne. Cologne is having a moment. More and more men are wearing a fragrance, and get your guy something special that not everybody else is going to have, and you'll find it at JH and Sons. 8 and Bob is one that I tried today. Amazing. You're going to love it. And I love the Keton 06. So ask for Keton, ask for 8 and Bob. Just ask for Kevin or Bryce or anybody there. They'll help you out. JH and Sons, you can go online, sign up for their email, jhandsons.com, but go to the store. Edina Galleria, JH and Sons.
Thought-provoking.
I certainly didn't vote for him, but I still need him to do well.
The city council does not care what businesses think.
Compelling.
The people that complain the loudest about how expensive stuff is blow the most money.
Challenging.
We don't have facts anymore. That's why fact-checking is a useless exercise.
How about our cannabis rollout? What a clown show.
Intriguing.
From the DFL perspective, it's just not a good look no matter what party you're with.
News Talk 830 WCCO.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Things are slow for 394 both directions right now for the time being between Worth Parkway and downtown Minneapolis. If you're traveling north 35E, watching the slowdowns there from the area of Wagonville into downtown St. Paul. West 694, not too bad. Just midway between 35E and 35W. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
What's your love language? Whatever it is, Mini Leaf has your perfect Valentine's Day gift. You can give the gift of being pain-free and have better sleep and a whole lot of fun. Check out minileaf.com, MINNELEAF.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Mini Leaf, the home of Minnesota's best legal products at minileaf.com. Bring us Chris Schaefer.
The wind backs off tonight. It's going to be a cool night, falling back to about 6. Most of the day tomorrow, pretty quiet. Only a high of 20. That's about 6 degrees below average. But the snow will hold off until late. No issues with either commute or school bus stops or anything like that. Most of the snow falling early Saturday morning into the early afternoon hours. We are under a winter storm watch. Still think we could see 3 to 6 inches. There could be a town or two in the 4 to 8 inch range. Fortunately, it won't be very windy on Saturday, so we won't have blizzard conditions.
Right now, it is super windy. Super windy. We've got gusts up to, well, it's sustained at 20 miles an hour. My goodness. Right now, it is 14 degrees. It feels like 2 below on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
I'm running out of ways to explain this other than odd, bizarre, unprecedented, weird. I'll use all the good words that everybody likes to use these days.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Don't you know I'm losing control when you're not next to me? I'm falling apart.
I like this song. I am wearing jeans right now. Tracy Perlman is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Tracy, we got to figure out what to call this segment. Tracy has been joining us every week. The response has been through the roof because I think people like that you give me crap.
Well, I've just known you too long.
It's true.
Because you'll give it back.
It's exactly
You'll give
right.
it right back to me.
Tracy is the executive producer. She's a big shot over at Channel 4. And she joins us here to talk about this very hot topic because I know you have a strong opinion about this. So do I. I'm wearing jeans right now.
As am I.
I last washed these jeans. Who knows? I almost never wash my jeans. Your thoughts?
Same. I was like, oh my God, Jason's going to think I'm such a dirtball. I'm actually wearing my best friend's jeans right now. She didn't like the pants. I'm out of town and she didn't like the pants I was going to pack and literally took her pants off to give to me to wear. Is
this a girl thing? I feel like if I were wearing
a total girl thing.
Yeah.
We were in the sorority together. I mean, this is a total girl thing.
This is exactly, by the way, what I envision sorority life as being.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, wear my pants. Don't wear those pants.
The pillow fights and the pants. That's
the whole thing. The whole thing.
That was at KU. That's Kansas for you, right?
That's Kansas. It's Kansas and sorority life for you. So I actually don't know when these jeans that I'm wearing were washed last, but my jeans, I don't wash as frequently as other people want me probably to. I will say though, I'm not doing farm work in my jeans. There's no manual labor happening in my jeans.
Right. Yeah.
And in yours either, let's be honest.
No,
so
please. If you're watching on YouTube right now, I have the delicate, dainty hands of a broadcaster. You know, I mean, these hands have not seen tough times in any way.
No, my hands are very soft.
Yeah. Mine too. Soft, supple.
Yes.
This is, I mean, I have done no work. Yeah. Look what I do.
No, I don't. Now I'll tell you, my grandparents, my great grandparents, they all did actual jobs.
Calloused, tough hands.
They owned a construction. They were building houses. Yeah. Literally, Cecil Builders was my grandparents. My other grandpa, manufacturing. They were making uniforms. My hands, they type delicately on a keyboard. So my jeans don't need to be washed as frequently. I don't know what your listeners are saying.
Well, I'll tell you already.
Yeah. We're gross. We're gross.
Gross is the first word. 651-461-9226. Gross. Your jeans are full of fecal material, urine, dead skin cells. That's disgusting.
Okay, dead skin cells, fine. I'm not having accidents in my pants, and I'm wearing underwear.
Well,
so
I'm not gonna say like there's never, you know what they say about not trusting.
Well, you're 50 now, Jason, and I'm 40, so we're getting up there.
Honestly, like the Depends endorsement is just a heartbeat away for me. Let's be real. Another texture. You all don't wash your jeans. Ball sweat. So that would not be a concern of yours.
Again, no. But again, I'm wearing underwear.
As am I. Are people just free balling it in their jeans? Is that what's happening?
Jeans?
Another texter too. Jason, after you've worn the jeans one day, smell the crotch. What is it? What are people doing?
No. Now listen, if I go to a hibachi restaurant, sure, my pants will smell. We're not manual laboring in our pants. My workout pants get washed after I work out.
Now I'm nervous. Now I need to smell that area of my jeans. Like I just never.
Are you going to be nose blind to it?
Another texter says this stuff goes right through the underwear. Do you fart? This is amazing. Like people's.
I knew we were going to upset people, but we are being honest and we're living in our truth.
Yeah, I don't wash my jeans. Like I am generally most pants. Frankly, most of my clothes. So the reason we bring this up is the French government is asking people to kind of use less energy, use less water. And they're asking people to, slow down on the laundry. So they want you to like wear a t-shirt 5 times before you wash it.
Okay, again, if I'm not manual laboring, maybe fine. If I'm wearing it to work and it didn't get dirty, sure.
Yeah.
But if we're going to go out at the club and we're going to be dancing,
right?
I'm going to wash my shirt.
Which
the club?
The club is where
the club.
The club.
Where you go.
Actually.
The club. Fam.
Yeah, when I'm over at the Minneapolis club, is that what you're talking about? Like things are just getting rowdy.
Yes. When you lunch,
you're at Charlie's just going crazy. No, you don't have to worry about crotch region sweat in that environment.
No. Now, okay, so the CEO of Levi's said a while ago, because I remember watching this on the news, that your jeans should never go in a washing machine.
Yeah.
That you should only spot clean them because it ruins the denim and the fabric.
I mean, people are really concerned about our hygiene.
I understand. I shower, people.
Yeah, right. Like, let's look. If you go to Levi's.com and see, as a general rule, they say we recommend washing your denim sparingly. A good rule of thumb is to wash your jeans after about 10 wears. 10 wears. That's freaking Levi's. So you guys settle down on how disgusting I am. The text line, Dan, do you have the text line open in front of you?
I can.
I would love for you to be the voice of the people here. Dan Cook is going to be the voice of the people.
But be gentle, Dan, because we have very delicate egos.
Well, I was going to say, isn't the bit, though, you're supposed to freeze your jeans and that kills anything in there?
That's only if you're like a Northeast Minneapolis hipster, like when it gets really
I'm not
cold.
Freezing my jeans. I wear 2 layers of sweatpants when I take my dog out when it's under 20. Like, no one goes outside in jeans.
All right.
Impractical.
Here's some of the reaction. The people are not happy at 651-461-9226.
Just spray some of that fancy cologne on your pants.
Okay. All right. I mean, I do love cologne. And now I'm going to spray a little in the crotch region of my pants because apparently I should start smelling.
You guys,
Alyssa thanks you for that.
Yeah.
You guys, it's like if you decided you weren't going to brush your teeth because apples help clean your teeth.
No, I brush my teeth twice a day.
Do you floss?
Not as often as my
There you
dentist.
go. I don't floss either. Floss is for suckers.
We reject big floss on this show.
That's right.
I know, and I've told my dental hygienist and my dentist that, and they were like, "It's okay."
Yeah, that's right. Real talk from
Because
your
you
dentist.
brush.
One more here.
Yeah.
When I eat onions, I can smell them when I shower, so it's on your skin and you stink.
Wow.
Sounds like
Wow.
kind of like a personal issue.
But another texture
That-
defending us,
yeah.
you don't change your sheets every day. So
No.
settle
How
down.
often are you changing your bath towels out?
This texter may have it nailed. Well, the French don't wear deodorant, they smoke, and they have stinky cheese, so who's going to notice the t-shirt?
Bravo to that listener.
All right. Very good. Good start here. Tracy, we're going to break. When we come, people, what do I have against people from Northeast Minneapolis? I will explain why Northeast Minneapolis has been the go-to Jason joke for the last couple days, and we'll do that next. Drive Time continues.
Drive Time with DeRusha is back after this on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I love Northeast Minneapolis. I'm there all the time. What do you consider Certix in Northeast Minneapolis? It's Jason here for my friends at Certix. Go to my Instagram page, by the way, at DeRusha J. There is a video up right now with 4 things that you should get for Valentine's Day at Certix. Well, maybe I'm mischaracterizing the video. The video is 4 things that I wish my lover would get for me on Valentine's Day. And I know what you're thinking. Jason, do I want to watch 60 seconds of you saying the word lover? And the answer is, oh, yeah, you do. Oh, yeah. Certix has, of course, an incredible selection of bubbles, which I think is always romantic, pink wine, which is fun, too. But if you go next door to the cheese shop, you got world-class chocolate. You have cheese, maybe a fondue night at home for Valentine's Day. They'll help you out. And if you want to do something special, how about pick out a bottle of wine and pair the perfect cheese with it? It's like the wine is you and the cheese is your love, and you bring it together for the Valentine's Day to remember. Is that too much? Maybe. You can shop online at Certix.com, but there's tons of free parking. They love to see you in the store at University in Hennepin. I call it the Certix neighborhood of Minneapolis.
You can do this. Why? Because no one cares more about your money than you. Right now, many have concerns about their retirement, their investments. Are these mutual funds a poor investment? Did you know that with the average fees of 2%, you could be missing out on upwards of half of your potential retirement dollars? That's pretty high for management, especially when 75% of these funds underperform the market. At Trading Academy, our mission is to empower you to take control of your investments. Text investing to 210-210. Take control of your financial future. Maybe it's to just have a better conversation with your broker. Sign up for a free investing class, local classrooms, one-on-one mentoring, how to protect your investments against inflation. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
You know, we've all gotten unsolicited cash offers for our homes. I get it. It can make moving less stressful. But if you go that route, there's a good chance you'll be leaving money on the table. Hey, it's Benita. If you're thinking of selling and don't want the stress, call my buddy, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Corinne just worked with John to sell a loved one's home. She wanted the convenience and she got it. John helped her. His marketing system helped get multiple offers for Corinne's home. All the attention led to her home selling for $30,000 over the asking, $75,000 more than that below market investor cash offer she originally got. Contact John for full details, 952-222-9000, online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Got your slowdowns traveling 694 westbound Central over to Highway 252. If you're going to be traveling South 35W, some slowing through downtown Minneapolis, loosens up beyond Franklin Avenue. North 35E, a little bit of congestion in play as make way between Victoria and I-94. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
The Canopy Group brings us the weather forecast, and we are really watching Saturday, early morning hours. Winter storm watch in effect starting at midnight. Chris Schaefer telling us tonight we'll be down to 6. Tomorrow, quiet, high of 20, not windy tomorrow. The snow starts late night. Think like 10, 11, 12. And then snows during the overnight, 3 to 6, 4 to 8. We'll see. Stay tuned. Right now, it is windy and it is cold. In St. Paul, it's 11. It feels like 5 below on CCO.
Drive time continues on the roads and on your radio. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason, this is disgusting. You need to launder your jeans. I mean, think about how breathable they are. They're not. I'm here listening to you, thinking about all the things that are in your jeans when you don't wash them. I mean, just wash them.
I mean, Tracy Perlman and I are disgusting people all over Minnesota and western Wisconsin. It's nice.
It's just a swamp over here.
That was a voice message sent in through the Odyssey app. You can always click on that microphone, send us a message about any topic, anything on your mind. We appreciate that. Texters saying to all the people that have to smell the crotch of their blue jeans, they might want to bathe more and use a wash rag with soap. Yeah, maybe it's their problem.
Maybe they should buy more than one pair of pants and rotate it.
Well, that's fair.
Let them breathe
Let them
between
breathe.
wears.
Another texter says 10 wears sounds right. I wear them about that many times, and I just stand them up in the corner in between. So
we didn't even talk about the inefficiencies of trying to dry your jeans. If I were to wash them every day, because if you throw them in the dryer, then they're too tight, so you don't want to do that.
It's true. I have some jeans that are a little baggy, and those go in the dryer, and others air dry.
It's because you're very svelte these days.
Wow, so are you.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
Thank you.
So a texter asked what I have against people from Northeast Minneapolis. And I will say
their jeans are too tight.
Northeast over the last week, I feel like I have used it as shorthand for hipster. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So like
the cool kids. Yeah.
They're the cool kids. So what do I have against them? I guess I'm just mad that I'm not them, right? Like Northeast.
You're a downtown person now.
True. There's like so here's the thing about your Northeast residents, your downtown / North Loop.
Yeah.
Northeast is sort of where the downtown North Loopers go when they get married and have kids, right? Like they've got the full beard, like not the cropped beard like I have. They've got like the I'm going to Fulton beard, you know?
Yeah. And I haven't washed a lot of my clothes in a while. And they were thrifted. I'm going for it. Jason, we all
it.
know what you're trying to say. and
This
you
is what
can't
I'm
say.
saying. Edina is the shorthand for the rich people. And or Linden Hills. I think that's acceptable.
Yeah, or West Burbs.
Who else? So Joe from Northeast, who was born and raised, just texted, keep mentioning Northeast. Northeast is like sort of where the action is right now from a food perspective, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to think. I was thinking like that's where you almost don't. They don't need advertising. They're just cool from word of mouth.
Yeah, yeah. Remember when we first moved here, and you moved back here when?
About 16 years ago. Yeah, 2009.
Yeah. So like everyone was talking about Northeast as like that's going to be the new uptown, like that's going to be sort of the artist cool area. And I think it is. Now, the weird thing about the downtown North Loop area, when you think about people who live there, is like half of North Loop is like young, like the 20-somethings, right? They're going to the Loop bar. They're, they're at Barcelona Wine Bar. That's that crowd. And then the other half are like the 50-plus empty nester crowd.
Yeah.
Which, if you're a divorced guy, like that's got to be the best neighborhood for you to be in. You got your 20-somethings all available.
You're go hang out at the Loop.
Yeah, exactly.
And Red Cow.
It's there's nothing, Hey,
you
got to do what you got to do.
When you're eating good, you don't need a car. You can just hop on your little electric scooter, buzz about.
It worked out pretty well. Tracy, I think we did some quality work here. I was going to ask you about the NFL taking and racism.
I wanted to talk about that. Yeah.
Because it's not going to be on the end zone during the Super Bowl, which is great news, I think.
For people who want to be racist and now don't feel the pressure from the NFL?
Well, I thought it was, maybe it was over. Like by putting it on the field, like that was a major step to fighting. They did so much fighting. They fought the racism. It was right there on the field.
And now we have to choose love.
I will say that, like, I don't care that they took it off, but it is pathetic that they took it off for the Super Bowl because Donald Trump's going to be there. Like, let's be real. What happened? If next year they changed it as a policy, you'd be like, all right, like, we don't have to have this here forever, but pretty blatant pandering, I think.
I think they're probably going to use it for ad space.
Oh, the NFL using it for ad space? Do you think we could?
Why not?
Could we get an ad for this segment? You think we could buy a spot?
Start collecting your pennies.
Like end DeRusha, maybe
end DeRusha,
end AM radio, something
more like gene washing.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks, guys.
Henry's next. We're off tomorrow. Henry's in for us. Have a great weekend.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.